Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Riot Challenger Qualifiers here for the Autumn Regionals. My name is Place, and I'm joined here with Atlas for what is going to be the competition for the last spot in the Autumn Regional Round of 8.
I am so excited for this as well, Place, because this is all down to the wire. This is the final chance that you can get into the Autumn Round of 8. Yeah. And it's going to be an amazing series to watch once we do have it. I mean, we've got teams like going to be playing off against each other in best of 3 rounds, and then there's going to be a grand final to decide who's going to go through. So it's all on the line, and it's all or nothing at this point.
Yeah, and especially for teams like, Avant, who are looking like favorites throughout all of their qualifiers, and they just haven't managed to sneak that spot just yet. So they're going to be looking hard for this one. Same as SYF, obviously.
Absolutely.
A team looking to get into the pro scene, and this is the best way to do it here at the Challenger Qualifiers. And one more spot. We'll come back with the game in a moment, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Time for 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game. With the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer, life comes to games like never before.
Scissor used Earthquake here, and I can't wait to see what these guys bring out in their best of 3. Of course, winner of this goes on to the grand finals to compete for that qualifying spot, but we are into Champ Select. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm excited to see what Avant-Garde do, because this is their last chance, and they've been trying so hard throughout every other way to qualify at this point. Go for lols. In for ACL as well, and Cybergame, and not quite managing to get there. This is Avant-Garde's last chance to find redemption here, Place.
Yeah, and of course, even though it's the last chance here, it's not easy at all, because this is the Challenger Qualifiers. These guys got into this event because they were in the top 8 spots on that Challenger ladder there. And so,
absolutely,
definitely we can expect big things here from Scissor Use Earthquake, and bans are coming out here. Yasuo banned out there by Avant-Garde.
Yeah, Pantheon and Thresh to follow up as well, and Thresh definitely one of those really the supports that have really made their name in the scene at the moment.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're just massive. Thresh and Leona have been big contenders for top spot in the support position. Elise as well being banned away, and Yasuo both just ridiculously strong where they go. That's no surprises here at all. Pantheon's a little bit odd, but probably a bit of a target ban against that Prawn Star.
Yeah, and I think the Pantheon ban does make a bit of sense here. It's been played so much in especially the ACL qualifier last weekend, and of course, I wouldn't be surprised if teams decide to pick that up today. Of course, it is banned out here. Won't be happening. Ziggs is banned out though, and I didn't expect that one.
Didn't expect the Ziggs? Yeah, that does make a little bit of sense. I could imagine that potentially there could be a Gragas pickup here.
Yeah.
He has been left open, and he's been massively powerful throughout the split, but picks coming in really, really fast. Vi being locked in straight away. That Elise being banned out, not opting to go for the Lee Sin of that trifecta of junglers, opting for that Vi potentially. And we've got a Nocturne being locked in as well. So stepping away from the meta here, but I really, really like that pickup. Nocturne always good with his global presence.
And we've seen people like Spooks from Immunity play a lot of Nocturne in solo queues. So I think a lot of Oceanic junglers are definitely using that, building their mechanics on this champion, because he fits into the meta perfectly here, and they've locked it in with the Lulu. So it's going to be a strong engage with that Nocturne.
Yeah, it really can get into the backline really, really effectively with that Paranoia. And also, because of the rise of carry junglers that have been coming out recently, you can use that Umbra Blades passive, which is ridiculously hard to say, in order to clear the jungle really, really quickly, and he can get that gold stacking, making sure that he can get those conservation stacks out as quickly as possible. But Shyvana being hovered over here as well, and as we were talking about, that Gragas being locked in for Avant-Garde. Fantastic.
And I'm not surprised there as well. Obviously, Psyker is the new mid laner for Avant-Garde here. Their former mid laner Superficial has stepped down. Face on the Leona and the Ezreal respectively, and aggressive bottom lane, but the Ezreal pickup, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't see Ezreal as being a massively contentious pick. There are options that Smiley Face could go for other than Ezreal, such as Jinx or perhaps even a Sivir. Sivir would fit into that team comp really well because they want to engage as hard as possible, and it really helps get Leona in there in range for that Zenith Blade in order to lock on. But Smiley Face does, I guess, really like having the ability to Arcane Shift out of trouble if it does actually happen. So, it's a sensible pick. I understand.
This could be Morgana locking it. It is. I love this coming out of Scissor used Earthquake, man. Such a strong bottom lane. We've seen the Morgana pick in the ACL finals where we saw your social Chuffer qualify. And that really, really was a good pick, I have to say.
Absolutely. And if Airy can play it anything like Paws did in that first game where they completely stomped,
yeah,
I mean, this is going to be a very, very dangerous pick. I really do like the sort of the mind games that Scissor Used Earthquake are playing here. They pick up the Lulu. Sometimes you'll assume that's going to be support. They've got a lot of ability to switch that around if they want to, and then they eventually go for that Morgana, pick that one up and lock that one in, and have that Lulu for the really strong mid lane presence. I don't know how she's going to go necessarily against this Gragas, because Gragas is a beast in that mid lane, but Lulu's definitely strong right now.
And the thing is, you know, Lulu's all about that utility as well. So I feel this is going to be an interesting one, especially in this middle lane, considering how tanky and how much damage the Gragas can put out compared to the Lulu, who's more for that utility, as I said. And so it's all going to be about these junglers, as we usually say. Top lane's interesting as well. We've got a Jax pick up against that Shyvana.
Yeah, and Jax, he's been showing a lot more recently. I mean, of course, it was Zion Spartan in the NALCS that's actually been bringing him out and doing amazing things on that Jax. He's just a monster in that top lane if he gets going. And against a Shyvana also very, very strong. Both of them scaling top laners, really, really powerful. Jax generally opts for a little bit more damage, but I see it still being a fairly close lane throughout most of the game.
Man, it's going to definitely be an interesting one here. Of course, looking at the lineup of Scissor Used Earthquake, they've had a lot of different names over their competitive history here. You know, you might remember familiar faces such as Sladia, formerly known as Ramble, Prawn Star as well. An interesting jungler.
A bit of a famous one, that Prawn Star.
Yeah, died in some of his qualifying matches to the jungle. Multiple times.
He's just got to learn his limits, and he's learned it in the earlier qualifying chances, and now that he's at the real thing, he knows exactly how much damage he can take in that
Absolutely. And, I mean, he's got the Nocturne here as well, so a fantastic jungle pick for him. And obviously, everyone knows Avant. They've, you know, fan favorites here for this one, for sure. Yeah. The only lineup change, obviously, is in that mid lane. And Saika, I can't wait to see what he brings to the table.
Absolutely, and there has been lineup changes across the board for Avant-Garde. They've recently moved into a gaming house, so that's really, really exciting. A lot of changes sort of happened around that period, but they've locked in this lineup, and without Saika being in there for quite some time, he's been in there for a month or so now.
Yeah.
So they're really starting to solidify, and it's really good to see them finally finding their grasp, and hopefully they can display it here in this game. But one thing I'd like to mention about the team comps, very, very similar strategy-wise. I mean, Saika's Gragas is going to change a little bit what's going to happen, but because he has the dispersion on his explosive cast. But Wild Growth works pretty similarly, and what they're looking to do, both sides, is dive on the enemy team. So they've got Solar Flare into Zenith Blade for Leona. We've also got Assault and Battery from Vibe, but on the other side of things, we've got Paranoia from Nocturne straight into the backline. You've also got Dragon's Descent with potentially a Whimsy on that Shyvana on Sladir. And that's a monstrous way to get into the backline as well. So it's massive dive comps. We're going to see some really, really chaotic team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy here. And of course, I love the Wombo combo coming out of Scissor Used Earthquake here. As you said, you know, the Lulu and the Shyvana going to be huge when they jump into these ones. And the Paranoia to follow, it's always great to watch.
Absolutely.
That denial of vision going to work so strong into Scissor Used Earthquake's hands. And, you know, there's lots on the table here for both teams. And I think game number one in this best of three, we usually say that teams are going to go all out and kind of use every tool at their disposal to get that momentum lead as well, you know, the confidence into game two. But I have to say, you know, over the past couple of qualifiers that we've seen for the Autumn Regionals, that hasn't really been the case.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see who actually comes out ahead. And what happened this morning as well in ACL, I mean, we had BLG just going so hard and destroying that game so quickly first up, and you just don't know what's going to happen. But it is always definitely good to get your foot in the door really, really early on and make sure you have a little bit of a cushion there by winning the first game.
So we're into the loading screen. That's what we like to see, of course. These guys, it's going to be interesting, of course, because the level one here, we usually just see that defense. And it's kind of interesting because, of course, a lot of players aren't buying the wards in the early game anymore either. They're kind of just relying
on the trinkets,
relying on those trinkets. So what are we expecting from these guys here?
Well, I do like Dark Binding for an early level 1 fight. I mean, they've also got Lulu there for a potential Glitterlance for a lot of AoE damage.
Yeah.
And if she starts off with a fair bit of ability power, I mean, that's pretty good as well. Nocturne also has his Q for doing a fair bit of line damage also. And if that comes out in conjunction with a Glitterlance, I mean, that's a lot of damage.
That's true, yeah.
Potentially, but they don't have necessarily that much ability to fully lock down a pick after that Dark Binding does wear off. I mean, the Glitterlance is going to slow, but it's not going to stop a flash away. So I'm probably expecting a little bit of more defensive play, especially considering this is the first game.
Yeah, and of course, you know, both of these junglers really going to rely on that blue buff to help them clear out and stay relevant because, of course, we've seen a lot of junglers, you know, if you fall behind, it can snowball quite hard against you because, of course, the jungle does give so much more gold.
Absolutely. And that's why I really like seeing this Nocturne as well, because he was always relying on trying to get as big as he can, but also building a fair bit of damage as well on that champion. So I'm excited about this. Also, he does have the Eternum Nocturne skin, which is super cool.
Absolutely. Have to agree. And it does come down to the skins sometimes here.
The skin battle is important.
Nocturne sounds... Menace is going to love you for that one. But Nocturne sounds pretty scary when he pops that ultimate in Eternum Nocturne. But, you know, we're under the rift now.
Absolutely.
Let's see how this one goes.
I'm so excited. And, of course, on our red side, we do have Scizzy used Earthquake. On our blue side here, we've got Avant-Garde Redemption trying to find Redemption and find their only way into the round of 8 that they have left.
Oh, and a quick pause coming out. Yeah. Not surprised at all, of course. This is an online event still, and so these guys having their moment or whatever, but...
Someone probably not just connecting quickly enough, but hopefully we'll be back into this game ASAP.
So, of course, the lineups for Avant-Garde, obviously, Jax, Vi, Gragas and Ezreal with that Leona. And I guess Smiley Face and Teals are the all-star players for Avant-Garde here. They're very consistent in that bottom lane. What are we expecting out of these guys?
Well, the thing is, I'm a little bit worried about this bottom lane, just because Leona's fantastic. Ezreal just does not offer what I think is enough follow-up damage to the CC coming out. I mean, once they hit level 2, I mean, that's going to be Arcane Shift, Mystic Shot for Ezreal, and it's going to be Zenith Blade, Shield of Daybreak here for Leona. But if there's a creep wave in the way, I mean... You've got Ezreal that can just auto-attack, and his auto-attacks are a little bit lackluster early on in the game. So I'm a little bit worried as far as the damage potential is concerned. And I don't know, we'll just have to see how it goes. On the other side of things, though, Jekin and Aerie, massive potential early on. Piercing Light after that Dark Binding is massive. That's a lot of damage, especially if that Dark Binding lands with the Tormented Soil underneath. I mean, I think it's going to be a push for level 2, and it's going to be very, very scary for whoever doesn't hit that level 2 first.
So we'll see what plays out here onto the Rift. Moving out, 5-man defense look like it's going to be forming here for these guys in game number 1. And isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it's just what happens, you know, with that slight nerf to the First Blood Gold, and then everyone just doesn't think it's necessarily all that worth it, and they're all just going to posture around and get those Trinket Wards out as soon as they come off cooldown and have a little bit of early vision as far as invades and anything like that are concerned, which is pretty standard, let's be honest.
So I'm kind of interested to see where these jungles decide to start, and if they're going to focus any attention onto the top lane early on, because obviously we have the Jax pick here. It's not really the meta top pick. It's outside of that kind of a top laner of Mundo, Shyvana, and of course Renekton here. So is Jax going to need a bit of help in this top lane, or is he looking strong by himself?
Well, what I really like about the Jax pick is the fact that he can snowball really, really hard if he gets ahead. If Vi goes up there top, and Vi and Jax is a really, really powerful combo. If that Vault Breaker does land, and then the Counter-Strike stun comes off as well after a Leap Strike, Nex is going to be able to do so much damage with the Profound, and they're going to potentially be able to get down Sleetia fairly early on in this matchup. But if Jax does manage to do that, it's so easy for him just to keep killing and killing and killing, because Jax just snowballs so hard into this game. Not necessarily as strong early on, but once he hits that level 6 point, he has so much damage at his disposal. Yeah,
and I just love how Jax is kind of forming the dive buddies here with Profound as well. You know, they can just jump in, they're going to be super tanky, and they're going to do lots of damage.
That's exactly right. And on top of Leona as well, once they get into the teamfight stage, it's going to be very, very scary for Scizzy used Earthquake to deal with. But on their side, they also have a powerful team comp, so we'll just have to see how it all turns out. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see these teams that have similar ideas of how to make how to play out the game, and see which one executes it better at this point.
All right, so both junglers starting on the top side of their jungle, so it's going to be Profound gets his blue, and Prawnstar gets his red buff. A little bit of to and fro in the bottom lane as expected. Next actually starting with that Counter-Strike as well, so Sleetia needs to be a little bit careful.
I very much like that pickup of the Counter-Strike as well, because you can take minion aggro and it charges up the damage that your Counter-Strike can do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sleetia already getting harassed off those creeps. And I guess Nex, pretty confident with that pick, you know, picking it into that Shyvana.
Yeah, and Nex is, of course, a very seasoned player, so he's confident with whichever champion he's on. And with this Jax, does have that Mighty Jax skin here from the Winter Olympics, which is really cool to see come back. So, pretty confident.
So, Snare going to miss in that bottom lane. You could see as well, you know, Psyche getting harassed quite a bit in that middle lane. Something interesting about Nex as well, though, is he's one of the few Australian pros that really loves that singed pick as well. We saw him play it in his Cybergamer qualifier. We also saw it in one of his Go For Little qualifiers as well.
Yeah. And he played really, really well in that Singed. They picked up a win, I think, with that Singed in their lineup in the best of 3. Did they? Or did they
Yeah,
not?
they picked up one game.
Yes, they did. So they picked up that one game with Nex on that Singed. So hopefully we'll see him in a game potentially Zenith Blade lands.
Nice little catch there onto Jack. Going to push him down a little bit. Support wasn't actually with him either, and Prawstars is in trouble, and there's a pause.
Pause at a little bit of an awkward time here. Prawnstar in a lot of trouble, very, very low on mana as well, so can't really get off that fear leash. We'll have to see what happens after the pause comes through.
Yeah.
Another thing I'd very much like to mention as well is the fact that our AV bottom lane is going incredibly well against Scissor used Earthquake.
Absolutely
really
pushing
strong.
it up, and you know, we talked about the Ezreal pick, and we usually think of the Ezreal pick as situational for an AD carry. You know, when the enemy team's going to have a lot of CC or a wombo combo, for instance, you want that Ezreal to be slippery and be able to get out of those fights. In this situation, I don't think it's necessary that they went for that Ez, but if it's a comfort pick here for Smiley, which it could be,
absolutely,
then it's working out for him because he's putting a lot of pressure into this lane and already pulling a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, and Smileyface does really like those mobile the mobile AD carries. I mean, he plays a lot of Lucian, he plays a lot of Ezreal, played a lot of Vayne back in the day as well. He's played when Vayne was a more contentious pick earlier on. Of course, now she loses pretty much every lane that she's in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he does like a lot of those mobility champions, so he is very comfortable on that Ezreal. I just think that potentially, you know, he can play the Jinx as well. I've seen that. That's very strong and very, very good in combination with Teals on that Leona. So that could have happened, but I've got to stop talking about it because he's picked Ezreal and he's already dominating his lane. 18 CS to 14, and he's really shoving Jack out. So I can't fault him. And
of course, you know, pretty much normal starts for all of these guys. One thing that caught my eye was, of course, Aerie on Morgana. Started with the Ancient Coin rather than the Doran Shield. Yeah, and that's something that we've been seeing from Morganas because they do have so much disengage. It's not likely that they're going to be gone on too early because that Dark Binding is so powerful as far as if you get gone on by a Zenith Blade, you can just throw that Dark Binding along the line of the Zenith Blade and they're just going to stop in their tracks, so that Leona's not going to be too much of a problem. So able to really start getting that income early. Plus, Morgana really, really likes to have money. If you get that gold, if you manage to get that Zhonya's Hourglass, which is the mid-Morgana's bread and butter item, because you get to pop that Soul Shackles and then become invulnerable and guarantee that stun, or everyone has to disperse. So it's a really, really powerful pick. And it's obviously, you know, going to be strong here if Aerie does well in this lane. But as we said, you know, Teals and Smiley, super confident to win out this lane for their team, and they're already doing that. I guess a little difference here, though, is, of course, Psyker and Lulu in the middle lane. And Lulu has been an interesting pick. We've seen AD Lulu, on-hit Lulu from people like Heaven's Curse, way back when. And, of course, the AP Lulu in the mid lane has become super popular now in Korea, even NA and EU. And of course, Soaz playing Lulu in the top lane for Fnatic as well. They didn't do so well in that game, but it still happened, didn't it? We've seen the Void Boy with the Lulu in the top lane. So the attack speed Lulu We've seen Lulu everywhere. Absolutely. And here we are in the middle lane again with the Lulu, and it's all about the AP. Yeah, when's Freak's Triforce Lulu from the jungle going to come out? I don't know. That's the next one. It's in the spotlight, man. This is how you're supposed to play Lulu. Yeah, kind of foreseeing the future here. We've seen it in all the lanes except the jungle. That's going to be next. Definitely going to be next. I don't know. I'm not sure whether that's entirely true, but I do like the fact that we do have T-Mac actually pushing Psyker out of this lane as much as possible, because Gragas, if he's let to his own devices, he can be a real bully in that lane. But utilizing that range and that extra picks damage is T-Mac in order to get Psyker a little bit off his out of his element, as it were, just throwing barrels around and not necessarily being able to contend with the range advantage that T-Mac does have. Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting one too, because one of Gragas's bread and butter in that lane is, of course, some of his earlier engages, so about level 3, level 4. It's a big power spike because, of course, you get that second level by level 4 into his Q, into the barrel, does a lot more damage, and we usually see early kills from a Gragas in that situation if the opponent isn't perhaps paying attention, and so I feel Lulu is one of the best champs at making sure that doesn't happen. She's got a shield for herself, polymorph, slow, lots of skills at her disposal to make sure that she's in a safe lane. Yeah, of course. If she lands that polymorph as he's coming in on his body slam as well, I mean, that negates so much of Psyker's potential damage as well. Exactly, so it's a really, really good point you're making there, because Lulu's a decent pick against Gragas, and Gragas seems to be so strong against everyone he's against. And T-Mac doing a really good job at trying to pick against that.
in the best way he possibly can. I mean, it's not like an Oriana, and we see that matchup so many times going in Gragas' favor.
I mean, that is the El Clasico of mid lane, the
Absolutely.
Oriana and the Gragas. But of course, overall, it's kind of a short day for these guys, but that doesn't make it any less intense because, of course, for Avant-Garde and Scissoryu's Earthquake, they're going to have one best of 3 here, and then whichever team wins moves on to the final for another best of 3.
Yeah.
So, potentially only 6 games to qualify, but
Potentially only 4 games to qualify if they do
yeah,
super
it could
well.
be.
Yeah.
So between 4 to 6, obviously, there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
could see 5 games. At
Oh,
least,
yeah,
but,
that's true. Sorry.
There we go. But at the same time, it's just, I'd say it's even more intense than some of the other qualifiers in the past because, all the teams that will be playing today have proven themselves as the best on the ranked 5v5 ladder. And
Absolutely.
Of course, that's not easy stuff from these guys. Not only does it take a long time to find games, you got to win them if you want to win that elo.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we haven't necessarily heard too much about Optic Snipers and Scissoryu's Earthquake, and this is a really good opportunity for them to explode onto the scene, as it were. So this is their opportunity to make a name for themselves, and hopefully, even if they don't necessarily win, hopefully these are some really good games and we can have them pop up in our memory and we can understand, let's look for them in winter. Let's look for them as the teams that are up and coming, because it's really good to see growth in the Oceanic scene.
So I think Scissoryu's Earthquake was formerly known as Fruit Basket in some of their GoFlow qualifiers.
Fruit Basket, of course.
Earlier in the month. And that's obviously Sladier and Prawn Stars ringing a bell there.
Mm-hmm.
And but there are a couple of different members. We've saw on Fruit Basket back in GoFlow, of course, they had We Need More Gold in the mid lane. And we're not seeing him here today. So potentially a little bit of a different team, but obviously some returning faces for them as well. But obviously, as this pause ticks on, not much to really talk about. 3 minutes 41 in.
There is one thing to mention, and it's the fact that Sizer can't actually learn Earthquake.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate.
Because I love that move in Pokemon. It was my favorite.
So do I. It's ridiculously good. Hits everything. I mean, 100 base damage, 100 accuracy.
All right. So almost 8 minutes into this pause here. Might go to a short break. And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Time for 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game. With the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer, life comes to games like never before.
Your species intrigues me. You seek knowledge, the most valuable resource of all.
So,
All right, guys, so the game is still paused here, and 15 minutes pausing in. We're going to find out what happens soon, but of course, let's just take this moment, Atlas, to talk about...
Was formerly Slappy Baggins. That was his little mistake there.
I knew it would happen at least once, but of course, let's talk about how some of these teams qualified in. So obviously, everyone knows Immunity, the champions from last season. Of course, they went to Gamecom and the wildcard event for a shot at Worlds, where they actually came pretty close, but didn't quite make it out. Of course, the first team to qualify after Immunity was Frenetic Array.
Yeah, and Frenetic Array are a beast of a team. They won the first Go for LOL opportunity to get through, so took their chance and just went, we're going straight in, and really, really decimated that and really played ridiculously well. So it's very good to see, and especially when it's been very, very hard for Immunity to have any contention here. We might be having a resume, though, but it's instantly paused again, so do not worry, everyone. And, so Immunity really need to have someone to actually push them, because in Gamecom, I mean, they dominated the Australian scene for so long, or the Oceanic scene for so long, that they weren't really offered the challenge and competition that they necessarily needed. So having teams like Frenetic Array and Team NV winning the follow-up Go for LOL championship as well, really, really big teams and able to give Immunity a run for their money like no other team really has been able to.
And, you know, after speaking to players from Frenetic Array and NV, you know, they were just so satisfied and happy that they managed to get their qualification out of the way. You know, it's kind of like once you finish your series to promote in solo queue, it's kind of like a burden off your chest. You're done. You can move on. And so obviously they were happy with that. And as you said, you know, teams like Frenetic Array and NV looking strong and maybe could take games off Immunity throughout the round of 8. But, you know, we saw Little Wraith in the November Go for LOL finals last year. In their first month,
is like Sladia on that Shyvana into the backline in order to wreak some havoc.
Ooh, and a nice Black Shield as well, blocking out that stun. Teal's going to take a lot of damage. There's a Paranoia, and this could be the first blood. Prawnstar's jumping in. Teals gets melted down. The fear comes out. One more hit will do it. Jack's not in range. Forces to flash there, but they do pick up that first blood.
Yeah, Jack actually flashing forward. I'm not sure whether that was necessarily worth it to use up that summoner spell when there was definitely an opportunity to get that kill regardless, but very, very nice play here out of Scissor used Earthquake in order to pick up the first blood, and that's 800 gold in the lead, and this is not looking that great for Avant-Garde. I mean, we thought that this was potentially their game to lose.
Well, it is only the first blood right there, so Avant-Garde
still
perfectly happy. Profound picks up his blue buff as well. Interesting that Profound didn't trade off that second blue buff of the game to Psyker. Decided to take it for himself.
Yeah, interesting decision. But Vi does like to use a lot of mana and likes to get to that level 6 ASAP. So now with that level 6, he's going to be able to be a lot more formidable in those ganks.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Psyker just roaming around here. Can we putting down a ward? Keep the vision.
Yeah, and his hillbilly skin. Hilarious one, that one.
Prawnstar going to be starting his red buff as well. So very slow game here. Just that one gank from Prawnstar. And Director Camera really liking this top lane. There's a reason for it. Next, jumping onto Sladia. Gets a lot of damage down right there.
Yeah, Nex is, as this game goes on, he's picked up 3 Doran's items actually now, just in order to survive in this early game, because Jack's not known necessarily for his really early pressure, but once it gets later in the game, he's going to become a monster. Depending on whether he goes for that Blade of the Ruined King or the Triforce build, either way, he's going to be really, really strong.
And it's kind of interesting, you know, what are we expecting out of him against this Shyvana? Of course, Triforce is going to make him a little bit faster on average, but that Blade of the Ruined King going to give him a lot of damage through Nex. Wow, Sladia actually jumping in onto Nex. Nex forced to flash. Good little engage there from Sladia.
Yeah, and Nex actually getting the flash forced here, which is very, very interesting. Sladia popping that Dragon's Descent in order to do a lot of damage, but he's 10 CS behind actually on that Shyvana. So Nex doing a good job, even in a deficit lane, to manage to get this one happening. Oh, the Counter-Strike goes down.
Nex was way out of position right there. Just gets ignited, and Sladia turns it around with that Flame Breath. Easy kill actually up there for Sladia.
Yeah, Nex got a little bit cocky there, staying around, really not respecting the amount of damage that a Dragon's Descented Shyvana can do.
Oh, and look at that as well. Blue almost stolen by Psyker. Prawns has to smite it. That's pretty good. Denies it away from T-Mac. Both mid laners not actually getting a blue buff here.
Yeah, and Psyker doing a really good, nice job putting the pressure on there, and Prawnstar making the split-section decision in order to smite that away, and not getting it on that Lulu. Definitely important for him, as you said. 10 CS, 11 CS above here for Psyker in the mid lane on that Gragas, and it's something that we were expecting. Oh!
There's an engaged Soul Shackle is used. Paranoia comes through, and it's a 3v2 in the bottom lane. Teals is in big trouble again, getting caught out, and he is stunned into the ground. Gets taken out. Prawnstar picks up the kill.
Yeah, very, very nice. That Paranoia being used in this bottom lane every single time. They understand that Avant-Garde Redemption's bottom lane is definitely where the power is at and where they snowball from most of the time. Really, really intelligent play, and it means that they've definitely done their research on these players. So really, really good to see coming out from Scissor. Used Earthquake.
Yeah, and look at that Psyker just pushing up this middle lane all the time. T-Mac having a really tough time right here, and there's an engage. Assault and Battery comes through. Flash engage with Psyker as well. Destroys T-Mac. Picks himself up a kill.
Yeah, Psyker with an explosive cask for the last 200 damage. A little bit overkill, but definitely looked cool for the style points. And this middle turret's actually going to take a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, right there.
Prawnstar's there.
Look at this, Sladia still in trouble from Nex. Nex doing his best to push the aggression back after that early death that he had to suffer.
Yeah, and he has picked up that Vampiric Scepter, so a little bit more sustain in this lane, so able to stay neck and neck. And Avant-Garde going for this Dragon, they're going to be able to pick that one up for free. Really, really nice rotation around and knowing when everyone's back and picking that one up for free and just taking advantage of a lack of vision here from Scissor Used Earthquake.
Yeah, lack of vision is going to be an issue for them if they don't pick that one up as this game progresses, because of course the Dragon will be up very soon for these guys to take.
Yeah, exactly. So every 6 minutes we're going to have that Dragon possibility. So first one to Avant-Garde. If they keep getting these for free, I mean, it's just going to snowball that gold in Avant-Garde's favor, even though the kills are at a deficit at this point. Because, as we can see, it's only 300 gold the difference when it's 2 kills.
So, Smiley going to take a lot of damage right there from Jack. Has to back out a little bit. Does have a bit of lifesteal with that Bilgewater Cutlass, so he's going to be able to make some of that health back. Yeah,
it's the Blade of the Ruined King first, Ezreal, which is a lot of what we see coming out from a lot of the Asian competitions with Triforce being built after the Blade of the Ruined King, just because you do also get that Mystic Shot does count as an auto attack, so you also get the percentage health damage on that Mystic Shot as well, which is a little bit fancy and just gives him incredible kiting potential with that Blade of the Ruined King active, just to steal the health and also give him movement speed and to slow your opponent. So really, really makes that Ezreal even more slippery than he already is with that Arcane Shift.
Yeah, and it makes it, perfect against someone like Prawn Stars, who's going to be jumping onto him with the Paranoia. He can just blink away using that Arcane Shift, use that Blade of the Ruined King active, and then just peace out of that fight. And that's what Smiley's going to want to be doing here, keeping his distance while putting that poke out in these fights. T-Mac, Psyker, just fighting over this pink ward.
Yeah, Psyker just not really caring about what T-Mac's going to do to him. Just happy to take all 5 of those hits on that pink ward and take that one down. No problem at all. And this fight for vision definitely going in the way of Avant-Garde. They've got a lot of wards and even deep ones towards that red side jungle. Paranoia, though.
Oh, right in the bot lane there as well. Jumping straight in, and again, it's Teals being caught out, getting melted down. This is Deja Vu for the 3rd time. Another kill going down to their bot lane. Jack is now 2-0-1.
And it's interesting, they always seem to be getting these kills onto Teals. Teals on Leona here. Leona's not going to be worth that much money soon. And it's going to be not worth wasting this gigantic cooldown if they're going to give up objectives such as Dragon after they go back afterwards in order to get these kills that are starting to not necessarily be worth it. I mean, 0-3-0, Leona's the bounty on her kills is going to be going down, so not necessarily the greatest plan. I mean, I think that Prawnster really needs to try and focus on different lanes because this Jax is getting huge. If a Jax gets to stay 1v1 in a lane, even though he's down a kill, he's still going to stay relevant in this game. If he gets farm, he's going to get massive, and it's really, really dangerous. And I think that Scissor Used Earthquake are on a bit of a timer here.
Yeah, and of course, as you said, if Jax keeps scaling in this top lane, he's going to become a split-pushing power that Scissor Used Earthquake might not be able to deal with here.
Well, exactly, and certainly not with only one person, which means that the rest of Avant-Garde are going to be able to make plays around the map, and Nex is going to be drawing multiple people into that top lane in order to stop him, or whichever lane he decides to split push. So, as we can see, the gold not very different at all. Still 300 in it, even though that extra kill has happened since everything else. So, really, Avant-Garde are doing well, showing their composure and still just farming it out and doing a good job in the lanes as far as CS is concerned.
Yeah, and you can see, pretty even CS in this bottom lane, but the middle lane and the top lane are where we're seeing those differences right now. And, the gold, pretty similar between these guys, despite those kills.
Yeah, exactly. And Sladia now just pretty much unable to deal with Nex on this Jax, and does have that Bilgewater Cutlass for the slow potential as well. So with that Counter-Strike for the stun and then the slow coming out from the Bilgewater Cutlass, he's starting to get a little bit of kill potential here. Even though that Dragon's Descent is going to be difficult for him to sneak a kill with.
So, of course, in this bottom lane, Teals is 0-3. He's having a rough game. What's he got to be doing to turn this one around and make sure it doesn't kind of snowball away from him?
They're going to need some really deep wards to deal with this Paranoia or know where Prawn Star
Whoa,
is.
they want to fight Prawn Star right here. Knocks him back in. Wild Growth comes out right after he flashes, though, so he doesn't actually get a knock up onto Psyker and Profound. Good little gank there.
Yeah, very nice. I think that getting the Wild Growth out from T-Mac is definitely what I
Whoa, nice engage there. Jack jumps in. Smiley's so low. Brilliant. Solar Flare comes out, but it's on Airy, not Jack. Jack in so much trouble. Flashes all over the place, but it's Jack who comes out on top. He has marginal health right here. He's going to go for Teals. Snare lands as well, and it's a double kill for Jax. What a fight coming out of there from Scissor Used Earthquake.
That was very interesting.
No idea what just happened there. Airy as well, going to get jumped. Vault Breaker goes in onto him. Profound looking for the kill. Barrel comes through. Sneaky kill there from Psyker. But Jack
That looked a little bit silly, but I think Jack just didn't want to give extra assists over to Psyker and Profound and didn't want those guys to be able to snowball into this game. Jack noticed
Whoa,
the fact
Paranoia into that bottom lane, going straight onto Psyker. Will he get the fear? No, he won't. And Psyker gets out, no problems at all.
Yeah, Body Slam used just to escape that one, no problem at all. As going back to Jack, he suicided in order to stop all that assist gold. So that makes sense. Very nice double kill in that bottom lane, though, nonetheless. So able to really capitalize. The thing is, they're not converting these necessarily into objectives. I mean, Avant-Garde have taken the first turret.
They've also taken a gold lead here.
And so they've taken the gold lead, of course, as you're saying. And that's because the kills are going to Scissor used Earthquake, but they're not able to transfer these into objectives, which is where all the money is. So that Dragon really doing wonders here for Avant-Garde as far as them staying in this game is concerned. And I think Teals doesn't really mind the fact that he's died so many times, because they've managed to do what they've set out to do.
Yeah, and of course, Teal's becoming worth less and less every time he dies right there. And look at the damage that Nex is putting down to Slady. He's gone for that Blade of the Ruined King first, just like Ezreal.
Oh, another thing that I noticed, Teals picked up that kill as well onto Jack. So maybe Jack knew that the Leona took the last hit and actually wanted to make
T-Mac
it worth
taking
money.
a lot of damage, though. Is he going to be able to escape this one? Psyker chasing as hard as he can. Another body slam lands. No, it just falls short, and the Wild Growth comes out to knock him up. That's why Psyker couldn't connect with that body slam. Here comes Slady, though. It's a 2v1. Psyker's way out of position. Wow, the damage onto T-Mac takes him out.
Really, really nice use of the body slam there after the flash, but
Quick little dragon coming out. Teals and Smiley want to fight it. Shoal Shackles not going to land there onto Smiley face, but look at the Mystic Shot right onto Jack, and here comes Profound into the fight. Jack taken so low, and he does go down. Smiley will follow. Assault and Battery comes in too late, and Airy now on the run as well. Another Vault Breaker landing. Profound hitting all of these skills, and that is a big fight there for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, Smiley face just getting a little bit juked out there by Jack, and pays for it with his life. Could have potentially saved himself there if that brush wasn't available for Jack to use to kite in and out. Very, very nice little use of that there. So we'll have to see whether they're going to be able to do much work, but it was definitely in the favor of Avant-Garde there, and they're pulling back in this game.
Yeah, Avant-Garde picking up that tower as well as the dragon, and they're going to pick up this bottom tower as well. So
I think it was actually Scissor used Earthquake that picked up the dragon. Profound managing to
oh yeah, of course,
Pornstar
Pornstar got the
that away,
smite.
yeah.
So it was taken there, but nonetheless, I mean, a big gold lead here for Avant-Garde, and that's not something that Scissor used Earthquake were expecting.
Yeah, absolutely not. And they felt like they had a dominating lead early on, but they just weren't able to translate it.
Whoa, there's a gank at the top, right onto Nex. It's going to take a lot of damage. Jumps onto Sladia, has the Ignite. Dragons descend away, and Sladia manages to escape this one. Nex taken low. Oh, tries to get the stun off. It's not going to be enough. I think a minion attack actually picked that one up.
I think it was either that or the Lizard Elder that picked up that kill, but nevertheless, Prawnstar really coming through there, popping the Paranoia in somewhere other than the bottom lane. Definitely a good move.
And Psycho just roaming around here in the jungler as well. Was looking for a gank on the bottom lane. Of course, Teals and Smiley weren't there to help him out, so he's just going to head back to this middle lane, push it out.
Yeah, and this is going to be Psyker's job this game, I think, to make sure he roams around and helps his team out as far as to get them ahead as well, because he's 3-0-0 on that Gragas, and he is a monster right now.
Absolutely. And take a look at this. Jack and Airy farming out that white right there. They're too afraid to even go to this lane right now. You can see a ping there, probably from Jack asking for Airy to follow him down there, but Airy's got a different idea. He's going to be clearing out wards, warding up, making sure his team is safe.
Yeah, and if they don't know where Profound is, that Assault and Battery is just too much of a force. Even with Airy with that black shield, I mean, they've got Solar Flare at their disposal as well. There's just too much CC on offer for that black shield to be enough. So they do not want to overextend in that lane with that tower now down.
Absolutely. And you can see as well, Profound is starting to build that Randuin. He's very close. Needs a couple 100 more gold and he'll be able to pick that one up. And that's going to be very scary. If Vi jumping into your team has that Randuin for the AoE slow as well.
Yeah, and Vi going for the full tank build as well, which is interesting. We've been seeing a lot of more carry Vi's recently. Of course, in the OGN, there was a more of Malmortius with a Spirit of the Lizard Elder combination that was finished off first 2 items there, and it was really, really powerful, and that was a lot of damage to come down, really able to obliterate the backline with that Vi. So, I mean, there's a lot of interesting choices that you can make, but going for the tanky option here, I mean, I think it's a good idea because Jax isn't necessarily going to be that frontline tank that they need this game on the side of Avant-Garde.
So, next, becoming that split push power, just pushing out this top lane. Sladia doing his best to defend here. Is Nex doing the right thing, though? I mean, should he be roaming or should he be pushing?
I think as Jax, he just wants to be that unstoppable force that has to be reckoned with, because he's going to be able to take turrets down so incredibly fast with that passive attack speed stacking up. If he's left alone in this lane, he can take objectives over and over again and easily push this one out. So I think it's a smart idea that he split pushes. He's just got to be wary of fights that happen near his vicinity where he can just go in and get a few kills and really become a monster on that Jax.
Yeah, that's going to be scary to deal with as well. Usually we see that Shyvana become that, force to be reckoned with, that huge hyper carry of a bruiser, and this time it's the other way around. It's interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, of course, Shyvana does have that potential as well. It's just not quite as there.
And there's the gank right there. Breaker. Profound goes straight in. Sladia gets destroyed. No chance at all. Next picks up that kill.
That Vault Breaker timing for the Dragon's Descent was so, so good, making sure that Sladia was stopped in his tracks, unable to get away, and really, really nice play there from Profound. Just easy gank. No worries at all.
Yeah, catches him right as he tries to use that. Takes him out. So, AV grouping up this middle lane, keeping the pressure on Scissor's Earthquake, which is good, and what they should be doing. Those barrels are so powerful right now, and they're actually going to roam to this top lane. You can see Next still pushing it in. They want to rotate around and force something here.
Yeah, Profound really, really deep, and they've just got complete control over the red side jungle here of Scissor's Earthquake, just brute forcing their way through, which is really, really good to see, just showing that they're confident in their decision making and they're able to take this inner turret with pretty much no contest, I believe.
Well, it's already half health. Paranoia jumps in. Prawnstar's 1v3. This is crazy, but what is he choosing to do here? He's got to flash back out, manages to escape. That was a very, very scary engage for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that was necessarily the best idea. He's forced it back now, doesn't have the Paranoia or the Flash available, so they've lost a lot of their engage potential. Avant-Garde have decided that it's not a great idea to stay around. Smileyface was down a little bit on the health department, but I think they could have potentially pushed this one forward for a bit more of a man advantage, but they're going to be able to take the mid in the turret, which I would say is definitely a consolation prize here.
And 23 minutes in, it's a 4-0 tower lead here in the favor of Avant-Garde. What they want to be seeing, kills are almost even here, 7-8, and a big 3,000 gold lead for them as well. They're going to rotate to the bottom lane, pick up another tower.
Yeah, really, really smart rotations here from Avant-Garde. They're showing the fact that they have a lot of experience and just know how to work this map in the later sides of the game. Their teamwork so far has been fantastic, and really what's been keeping them in this game, because the earlier on, I mean, they were losing as far as kills were concerned. I mean, that bottom lane was getting hammered, and it's just been really, really difficult, but they've turned it around. They've managed to take objectives, and that's exactly what they need to do, and it's really good to see.
I mean, the early game kind of looked like Scissor's Earthquake had the right idea, but they just didn't transition it for the objectives. There's the engage. Assault and Battery comes through, and Airy getting a nice Soul Shackles off, and he just gets obliterated for it. Smiley picks him up. Jack in the backline trying to run here, but he's just getting trampled over, and his team is getting wrecked. Profound goes down. It's a turnaround, though. Smiley is in big trouble, or left all alone. Psycho's going to go down as well, and it's Scissor's Earthquake winning out this fight. A double for Smiley. He wants to turn it around. He's got the triple. Can he get the quadra kill? It's only Prawnstar in his way. One more will be enough, and he won't be able to fight it. Prawnstars gets away.
Yeah, very, very nice work there by Smileyface. He was sort of left alone. Every one of his teammates gets taken out, and then it's Smileyface in order to try and pick up the pieces. Jack survived with almost 0 health after that Ignite finish ticking down, and Jack's not quite able to finish him off. So maybe if he had have died, it would have been a slightly different story, but I very much doubt it. Really, really nice play coming out of T-Mac in order to pick up those kills in that fray before going down. Really, really nice play.
So what's next for these guys? Pretty big team fight there. No one really alive to take objectives after it. So Dragon's still available.
I believe they're both going to go. Yeah, I think Dragon's probably going to be the point of contention here. And Teals has spotted them out. They're going to clear out this pink ward and then just start it up straight away. So Profound's very, very close. This could be another fight.
Ooh, next, probably going to want to jump into this one. Profound looking to go in. He gets the smite. He stole it away. Prawnstar's now on the run as well. Paranoia used right on the Smiley. Smiley's been caught out of position and gets absolutely obliterated. The damage from T-Mac was filthy, and now it's Nex in big trouble. Teal's in big trouble, and Scissor used Earthquake just destroyed Avant-Garde.
That is a 3-for-0 trade there. They lose the Dragon, of course, but that was an amazing Paranoia. Use it, gets straight on top of Smileyface and obliterate him from the front. Just take him out. He's rendered useless, and with the wild growth on him, Prawnster was just a gigantic red metal guy, just wrecking everyone's face. And he has that Brutalizer as well with that Lizard Elder, and now with a Randuin, so he's both tanky and he does a lot of damage, and a lot of AoE as well. That Umbra Blades in his Q doing a lot of work as far as getting damage across the whole team is concerned. So really, really nice play out of Scissor used Earthquake. And there's only 1,000 gold in it, and it's about 25 minutes into this game. This is really, really good League of Legends right now.
Yeah, I absolutely love the build from Prawn Stars as well. Getting that round to its open to make sure he's tanky. He jumps into the fight and slows everybody, but of course he still has damage behind his engage. It's a very Pantheon-style build here.
Yeah.
And I'm loving the fact that more of these champions are starting to pick that up as well.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm wondering what he's going to go, whether he's going to finish off that that Black Cleaver, which is definitely a good item here on that Nocturne, or whether he's going to go for more tanky stats, maybe potentially pick up a Banshee's Veil or something like that in order to stop some of that Gragas Burst. And, of course, a lot of Jax's damage is, of course, magic as well.
Yeah.
Not the Blade of the Ruined King damage, though.
Yeah, they changed that one.
Yes.
So a little bit different now. Psycho picks up his blue buff. Jack going to be roaming around to defend that bottom lane. Smiley going to be pushing it in, and you know, it's an interesting fight right now. Who would you say is in the lead? Because it's very toe-to-toe.
I would say that the momentum at this point is actually on the side of Scissor used Earthquake. They've been doing really well in the last couple of team fights, and that's definitely going to give him some confidence here. And Sleater actually has a level lead on Nex and is able to push him out of lane.
Well, that's actually a big deal there because Nex wanted to be that split-pushing champion of the game, but apparently it's not going to be so. Good rotation here coming out of Avant-Garde, moving down to this bottom lane. I don't think they'll be able to get this tower, though. Minion's not quite there to allow them to push.
Yeah, and everyone here from Scissor used Earthquake available for clearing out this wave and making sure that couldn't happen. Next is Slaty, though.
All into the top lane. Slaty's already used that Dragon's Descent. Next not going to chase it. Can't fight under that tower. It's going to pop away to a ward. Just run away.
Yeah, a little bit of a cute insect-esque style play. Not entirely sure it was all that necessary, but Sleater forced to go back here, so Next able to just sit in lane and sustain back up. Does have that Randuin's Omen as well as the Blade of the Ruined King finish, so has a bit of sustain there, but I think he's looking to build perhaps the Ninja Tabi and then finish off something else after that. I'd really like him to get a Triforce though this game.
Nice culling to push the minions off the tower there. Successfully defended by Jack, and that's something that's great about Lucian. I mean, he was in a 1v3 situation, 1v4 actually, and managed to easily defend that tower by himself.
Yeah, using that culling has such an extra range advantage in order to get those creeps away and really reset the lane. So really, really nice work. Good to use in a pinch. Otherwise, you'd probably want to save it for a team fight where you can get some damage down from range.
So, of course, moving into this mid-game now, 28 minutes. It was a very long laning phase, of course, so this mid-game also was delayed as well. T-Mac, how's he looking? He's 3-3-4. We were looking for that utility from him in the mid lane. Has he achieved that?
He has. He's definitely been able to turn around these last fights, and his wild growths have been fantastic, especially onto Prawnster in the last Dragon fight. It was just really, really good to see. Hasn't opted to go for that Lichbane build, which has been a very popular decision here on Lulu. He's gone for that Rabadon's Death Cap early, so his Glitter Lancers are going to be doing a lot of damage, and that help picks damage as well is going to be massive on enemies when he uses it. Plus, his Whimsy is going to be speeding for a lot, so Slaty, oh wow, here's the Paranoia.
Right in onto Teals as well. Not going to find the kill, though. Profound gets knocked up as well from the Wild Growth. A lot being invested into this fight from Scissor used Earthquake. Profound gets out, and I don't think that was worth it.
Yeah, Teals had the most perfect Solar Flare there, and it stunned up 3 people and completely stopped their engage flat. Unable to get the dive off, just couldn't get the momentum, and that's all given to Teals. That was just a wonderful Solar Flare in order to stop that one coming in. And here's Avant-Garde's chance to really make something happen, because all of these high-level cooldowns are not available here for Scissor used Earthquake. So no Paranoia and no Wild Growth right now. So they really have to make something happen immediately. Yeah,
and it's 10-5 as well. Even gold right here. Only a couple of hundred between them right now. But it's the 3 towers that position AV in the lead here is what we could say. Next still pushing this top lane. He's just leaving himself up there all the time, forcing Sladia to stay.
Yeah, and he's able to do this now. He's at that comfortable point where he's just happy to keep smacking on everything, keep that passive up to max stacks in order to have as much attack speed as possible. So he can just sit there in that wave and just keep whacking on things, then whack on the onto that golem as well. So to keep it flowing.
Well, we'll see. In this top lane, just still pushing there. In the bottom lane, just still pushing. So it's a slow one here, and these guys not taking any risks for game number 1 of this best-of-3 series. There's the engage, though. Prawnstar jumps in. Already has the black shield. It's not going to be enough. Nice Wild Growth hits everybody. Assault and battery onto Prawnstars to try and slow him down as well. And look at the damage out of Gragas right there as well. Locking down Profound and Teals. It's not enough. AV just cruising through this team fight, and T-Mac going to be able to escape from this fight. Smiley picks up the kill onto Airy, and it's a 3-piece for Avant-Garde.
That was so incredibly good. Avantgarde just kited back as a team after Prawnster engaged, and they all focused him down, killed him, and then went on as a team to each other. Meanwhile, there's a fight in the top lane.
Yeah, and Slady's in big trouble here. Ignite goes down, and Next takes him out.
Yeah, very, very nice. Just the top lane bruiser battle has finally been won by Jax. He's finally managed to outscale this Shyvana, and this is looking really good for Avantgarde. I mean, that momentum really turning around so many times this game. Only 14 to 16 in kills, but finally there's more than a 2,000 gold lead here for one of these teams, this time being Avantgarde, with a 5 turret to 1 advantage.
And Avantgarde, you know, really showing a lot of... Oh, is T-Mac going to get caught? No, he's going to back off. That was a scary situation for him.
Yes, it was.
But, you know, of course, this is going to be a dragon here for Avantgarde. Going to be able to take this one out, no problems. Profound low on mana, but, of course, there is no contest from Scissor-Use Earthquake.
Yeah, so able just to extend this gold lead even more. Dragon worth a fair bit of gold now, of course. Everyone about level 15 to 16, so giving a fair bit of money over there for that dragon really has stacked up a bit. So the Infinity Edge now finished off for Smiley Face, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage, not opting to go for the Triforce build, which is very, very interesting. It looks a little bit like something you'd see built by, say, a Vayne or something like that. It's an interesting build here.
Yeah, and I mean, there is big crits coming out with that Infinity Edge, and it's got a lot of, I guess, armor ignoring damage here. It's got the Blade of the Ruined King, and of course that Last Whisper to help burn through it. So it's an interesting build from Smiley. Do you reckon it was the right choice, though?
I'm not sure. That Triforce is so incredibly strong there on Ezreal, and it's really, really helpful to give him that mobility, but he does have the Blade of the Ruined King to help him with that. So there are multiple schools of thought. I think that all of those items are definitely good for an AD carry regardless, so he's going to be doing the damage. It's just whether... it's min-maxing at this point, and it's what he's comfortable with.
Whoa, big engage onto Sladia, though. They catch him out with the Assault and Battery. He's just going to drag us to stand out, leave Prawnstars behind as well. So Prawnstars gets out, but AV, investing a lot into that, don't really get much from it.
Yeah, the Assault and Battery actually being used here, and they're going to have to wait for that one to come off cooldown before they engage again. True Shot Barrage and Solar Flare also used, so this is a similar situation to what Avantgarde found themselves in as well here for Scissor-Used Earthquake. They really need to capitalize on the fact that there's these big abilities down and make a fight happen. We'll see whether it does. And Paranoia is available, Wild Growth also available. Every ultimate here for Scissor-Used Earthquake is available when there's a few down for Avantgarde, so it could be definitely a good decision to fight as soon as possible. That being said, Avantgarde move back, defensively posture so that they can't get engaged on, which is an intelligent move.
Absolutely. So Banshee's Veil picked up here for Prawnstars as well. Going to help him against the engage. Profound doing the same thing. So obviously that Banshee's Veil starting to be preferred over the Spirit Visage more often. Yeah,
the Spirit Visage got that cooldown reduction nerfed. It just isn't quite the most powerful item that it was before, so Banshee's Veil being opted for it. It's very, very good against the burst coming out of Gragas. All of Gragas' abilities do a lot of damage, so if it blocks any one of those, I mean, that's a potential 600, 700 damage that it's blocking. So very, very nice pickup here for Profound. And able to block that first bit of CC.
Slady has been caught out here. This is an interesting situation. He's got the Black Shield. Paranoia goes in. They want to fight it. Nice Dragon's Descent as well from Slady in. Teals is already at half health, but here comes Next right onto T-Mac. Going to be doing the damage, but Smiley is in so much trouble. Manages to get away. Nice peel from his team, but he ends up going down to a damage over time right there. Explosive cast completely whiffing, only hitting T-Mac. This is not a good fight for Avantgarde. It's a 1-for-1 though.
Yeah, and it's a tanky top laner for the AD carry here. And Jack now in a bad spot.
Jack, whoa, just had no idea what he was running into right there. Gets destroyed.
I think he got a little bit baited there by Psyker being so low on health. Definitely not a decision that he wanted to make.
Psych!
Yeah, and I think actually it has stopped the push here. Psyker not really able, almost gets killed by these wolves here actually, which is a little bit difficult to deal with. And actually, it does stop the push down the mid lane. So Jack doing enough damage there to perturb them, but not going to be for long. And we've got 11 seconds on both Sladia and Smiley Face X, so maybe there could be some action happening very, very soon. I'm looking around this Baron for the next fight, to be perfectly honest, because both of these teams really want to dive onto each other, and this is a potential place for setting up those picks and setting up those dive opportunities.
Yeah, and 16-7 as well. It's been a nail-biter all the way through. You know, only 1 or 2 kills between them is the most we've really seen. Gold, though, taking a bit of a bigger lead here for Avantgarde, slowly extending that one. And, of course, they have picked up another tower in the last couple of minutes. So, I agree. I think the Baron will be the next big point of play.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see Scissor-Used Earthquake starting to take some objectives. I mean, they've been doing well in these team fights, but they're still down on the gold front just because of those towers. Meanwhile, next.
Yeah, he's going to get feared up. Not sure if they can take him out right here. He's very tanky. Going to be jumping to that ward as well. Slater uses that Blade of the Ruined King, but Next just walks out.
Yep, no problem there at all. And Next just going to stay in this top lane as well. And this is what he needs to do. He needs to be drawing multiple people into his lane so that he can just be that menace and say, look, you can't get rid of me on your own. Bring your friends, and we'll see how this goes. Does actually have the Triforce on him now as well, so that Jack's going to be a monster.
So, Siege continues here. Psyker using those barrels to push up that wave. AV actually going to roam around here. Maybe they're looking for a catch in the jungle. Not quite ready to siege yet.
Yeah, they're looking for this Baron. I think they're pinging this one down, making sure that they get the vision advantage, and then just going to set something up, possibly wait and see whether Scissor-Used Earthquake come through and try and make anything of this. And Prawnstar looking at in a dire position. Slade is...
Oh, there it goes. He face checks right in. Doesn't take a lot of damage just yet. Will go down. They invested a lot into that kill, so Avant-Garde are going to have to get something to capitalize. We'll see if they can catch any more. Next, looking for a jump onto Jack. It's Prawnstars who gets caught out, though, by the Assault and Battery. Smiley trying to take him down. Next gets jumped, though. Prawnstars goes in. Next manages to escape and gets out. Look at the damage from Gragas. Double barrels just melting down the side of Scissor-Used Earthquake. And Smiley Face has got red in his eyes. He's going to chase this one down. Already used that Arcane Shift, and Prawnstars will get away. But it's all about AV in this base now. Going to be able to take out this inhibitor.
Yeah, that was a perfectly orchestrated pick there, and they managed to kill Slater before he even managed to use his Dragon's Descent. Really good play, and they've got everyone alive. They're possibly going to be able to do something
Oh
here.
no, Next gets taken out. Shutdown kill for Nocturne right there, and it's 4 people dead on the side of Scissor-Used Earthquake. First Nexus turret will go down. Prawnstars gets jumped. He's in a lot of danger right here. Spell Shield will block the Vault Breaker, but Smiley follows it up. There's the Body Slam as well. Prawnstars dies on the base. Second Nexus turret will be going down, and this will be game 1 for sure, going to Avant-Garde right here.
Slater trying to do something as this Dragon Lady, but they're just going to focus down this Nexus and pick up this win. Really, really nice play by Avant-Garde.
That's game 1 right there, going to Avant-Garde, and it was a long one. We had a big pause because there were some connection issues at the start, but they managed to pull it through.
Yeah, really, really nice composed play here by Avant-Garde, showing the fact that they are a veteran team. They know what they need to do. I mean, they struggled a little bit in the lanes in the early phases of the game, but managed to take turrets, rotated around, took the objectives that they could get for free, and left it at that. It was really, really well played, and they got that small gold lead and just managed to keep that one flowing through, and it was just really, really good to see from Avant-Garde.
Yeah, absolutely, and I feel they really dealt with T-Mac, especially in the mid lane. Psyker did a fantastic job of keeping on top of T-Mac, making sure that Lulu didn't become an issue for Avant-Garde as the game progressed. We did see some nice plays, though, from Scissor-Used Earthquake throughout that game. Early game, their bottom lane was doing fantastically. The ganks out of Prawnstars were really hard to deal with for Smiley and Teals, and we don't usually see that duo lane under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's true, although Smiley Face came back really, really nicely in the late game. It was doing so much damage on the Ezreal, and you're not necessarily used to seeing Ezreal's doing that much damage, especially recently, because the likes of Lucian and Jinx and Sivir are here doing so much burst damage. Ezreal's sort of a little bit outshined, but he did so well this game, and 8, 4, and 6, I mean, definitely a very good performance, and Teals had some phenomenal solar flares later on in the game, so they did try to shut down the Avant-Garde bottom lane, but they still managed to make the plays later on, and it's really, really good to see the fact that it doesn't get into their heads, and they can just make things happen regardless.
And, Teals on that Leona, he's one of those support players that just always shines through,
Absolutely.
Sometimes the supports get forgotten because, I don't know, the AD carry takes a lot of that spotlight, but Teals, especially in this game, hands down, did a fantastic job with those solar flares. A lot of defensive and aggressive solar flares, using the mechanics of his champion perfectly, and it was great to see, of course.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to Game 2, and hopefully Scissor-Used Earthquake can bring something back so we can bring this out to a 3-game set. So we'll see what happens. We'll see whether they can make something happen.
So Game 2 will be coming up really soon here for Avant-Garde taking on Scissor-Used Earthquake. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back right after this.
Wanna join me? Come and play. But
beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Pepper, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game. With the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer, life comes to games like never before.
So we're back here for the Riot Challenger qualifiers here for the Autumn Regionals, and of course, it was Avant-Garde taking Game 1 there in that best of 3. Game 2 will be coming up soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be it was a hard-fought slugfest here by Avant-Garde as well, so definitely no kind of stomp, which is sort of, I was half expecting a fairly easy game here for Avant-Garde, I have to admit, because I mean, I know that these are the top challenger teams, but Avant-Garde has been around the traps for so incredibly long.
Yeah.
And Sizzy used Earthquake were really, really powerful in that game and really showed that they can definitely put it to this team. So the Game 2 is definitely going to be no walkover here for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see Scissor use Earthquake kind of turn it around. We saw a lot of, I guess, potential in their early game. They took some big leads on a personal level, as in kills on particular champions. They just didn't get the global advantage by taking out some of those objectives. But we are into the Champ Select, so let's see what they can bring for game number 2. Avant-Garde taking on Scissor use Earthquake.
Yeah, absolutely. And what bans do you reckon we can predict here? Do you reckon Psyker's Gragas was worth a ban? I mean, Elise is being taken away here first on the side of Scissor used Earthquake, and definitely a worthwhile ban. Yes, we're being taken away as well, but there is the Gragas ban, exactly how we were predicting.
Yeah, you know, I would like to see that Gragas banned out as it is, and I'd also like to see the Vi banned out against Profound. I feel his ganks were incredibly strong throughout that mid game.
Yeah, and also for creating the team fights that they wanted to in the later game as well with Avant-Garde. I mean, using that Assault and Battery, it's just so incredibly powerful. So Pantheon also being taken away here, and they just definitely don't want Prawns to have that one.
Yeah, obviously very scared of his Pantheon. Perhaps that's Prawnstar's #1 champion. Of course, I would have said Prawnstar's comfort pick or go-to would have been the Vi. Of course, he didn't get it last game. It went to Profound instead, but...
they do have the opportunity to first pick it here if it doesn't get banned out, though.
Yeah,
so being
I mean,
the blue side is going to be handy.
We'll see what the next ban is out of Scissor use Earthquake, though. They've got one more left. I would expect a ban maybe against Teals in that support.
Yeah, possibly a Thresh here could be the option, and there it is. Thresh does come through as the ban, and definitely a good decision, and Kassadin being the mandatory ban here. Definitely never want to get that through, so... Very, very similar pickups here, and Ziggs was the one that was banned out instead of the Gragas in the game before, and T-Mac going to pick that one up straight away. Next, insta-locking that Lulu and Profound on his Vi again, so so quickly, definitely know what they want.
And I like that. I mean, I like seeing in a game #1 where there's a target ban against someone. In this case, it was Avant-Garde target banning Ziggs on T-Mac, and then game #2, it gets through, he picks it up. We'll see how well he does on it, and kind of make a judgment on if that first game ban was worth it, but... Hecarim going to be picked up here by Prawnstar's as well. And we've seen him play this one a lot, actually, in some of his other qualifying games in the Go for Lols where he played, and of course some of his Cyber Gamer ladder matches where he was playing as well. So Hecarim is something he's done in the past a fair bit. Yeah,
and it's interesting because Hecarim, he was very, very strong for a moment then, hasn't been seen as much play. I mean, he still does offer some amazing CC and performance, but he's not going to happen. It's going to be the Nocturne locked in again, so Prawnstar, he definitely had some fantastic ganks to try and turn around that early game. I do like that decision.
Yeah, and I think he did play it fantastically. And the Jinx lock in here as well. Jinx and Ziggs is so powerful for that poke.
Absolutely. Super Mega Death Rocket and Mega Inferno Bomb combination. As a caster, I really do love that one. And they've actually locked in triple global here. The Mega Inferno Bomb and Super Mega Death Rocket, of course, fairly global abilities, and that Paranoia fairly global as well. So they're going to have some amazing presence around the map here on the side of Scissor used Earthquake. So there could be some potential split pushing action with a lot of easily turn-upable characters. I know that's not necessarily the right terminology, but I enjoyed it. Psyche are going to be looking at this this Shyvana, and Smileyface X looking at Draven, and Draven has been a hot and cold champion over the last little while.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Smiley hovering over a couple of different champs here. Could be going with that Sivir. I feel Sivir's probably the strongest AD carry we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks for these qualifying events. Thrill of the Hunt is just unbeatable when it comes to team mobility.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's not going to do it. He's going to lock in that Ezreal again. Was very, very comfortable in that last game. I'm not sure whether... Like, I liked his build because it was interesting. Not necessarily sure whether it was the best idea necessarily. He got caught a few times, even though it was that Ezreal. It wasn't necessarily utilized for its mobility, and not entirely sold. Next going to be on that Shyvana, though, and that is definitely a strong pick. And Teals could be playing that Lulu, or we could have Psyker picking up something else here in the mid lane, or picking up that Lulu as well. So
yeah,
very interesting here. And
well, it's going to be the Rumble lock-in. So we saw that
Whoa.
by Jack Attack in ACL for his qualifier, and you know, he did pretty well on it, I have to say. The team comps that his team pulled off with that were incredible, and it's not really a similar style of team that obviously Scissor's Earthquake have picked up here, but how is this Rumble fitting in?
I very, very, very much like it. I really, really do, because Equalizer has a really, really long range. You can shoot that off from really, really far away, as you can do with Mega Inferno Bomb, as you can do with Super Mega Death Rocket, and you can also have Prawns to go in with his Paranoia. And what's going to happen is, Paranoia is going to happen, Prawns is going to jump into the back line, and then you're going to have all of these fairly global ultimates coming in and doing so much damage. Mega Inferno Bomb and Equalizer on top of it, that is so much damage over time. And if Prawnster can get in there and get a Randuin's off, he can stop people from being able to get out of that Mega Inferno Bomb, and that combination is really, really strong. So if Airy can also get in there with the Soul Shackle as well, I mean,
it's going to be a lot of AoE.
There's a lot of potential here for some Wombo
combinations as well. Smiley and Teals. It's going to be an Ezreal Sona lane. That's so much poke down there.
And Teals is so incredibly comfortable in that Sona. His crescendos have been some of the best that I've ever seen. He's so incredibly powerful on that champion. And there's a lot of poke coming out of this lane as well. I mean, Jinx and Morgana is strong. I mean, I very much like that. It works very similarly to a Leona Jinx lane, except with a little bit more safety. I mean, Morgana going to be able to land that Dark Binding, and you can land the Flame Chompers into that as well and get free zaps and all that sort of good stuff with your Jinx. So it's a good decision. It's only snares, so I guess they are a little bit more vulnerable to counterattack, but I do like the idea of that lane, but the poke coming out from Sona and Ezreal is pretty huge.
Absolutely, and it's got the Lulu as well. So into the mid game, there's a lot of support for this. I mean, the middle game kind of area here we're expecting from Avantgarde is going to be super strong, and of course they've got the Vi as well to get them there. And so I really like the Avantgarde team comp.
I like it. I just think that there may not necessarily be enough damage. Shyvana is going to build a lot of tankiness. I mean, Profound, I think, is going to have to not go for that tanky build and possibly go a little bit along the lines of, say, a Black Cleaver or a Triforce even, something to really give him some damage, because they're really lacking it. Lulu, not necessarily known for a damage, more for a utility or ability to lock people down and destroy them, and have really amazing whimsies to make people incredibly fast, and also the wild growth for extra health. So Smiley Face on that Ezreal as well, not necessarily known for doing massive amounts of damage, doesn't have like things like a Boomerang Blade or a Piltover Peacemaker in order to snipe people down. So I would very much like some more damage on the team, but they are going to have a lot of control. So if there's extended team fights, they're going to do really, really well on the side of Avantgarde. That being said, looking back over to Scissor used Earthquake, there's so much damage there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the big thing here. They've got a lot of poke, they've got a lot of CC. They kind of have everything that you would want for that poke engaged comp, and I'm interested to see, because if T-Mac does well in this mid lane, of course, remember that Ziggs was a target ban against him in game number 1, so obviously it's something important to him. If he does well in this lane, how is that going to transition into the middle game?
Well, that's the thing. He does have that Mega Inferno Bomb, so he's going to be able to clear side lanes. They're going to be able to control where their pressure is going. That's the beauty of having that that amazingly large bomb area. Is you can clear gigantic creep waves with it. You can also do tons of damage, because if he gets into that mid game and Ziggs has a few kills and a few items under his belt, as soon as he gets his Rabbitin's Death Cap, that Mega Inferno Bomb, if that lands on 3 or more people, that's almost a team fight over at that point, because they're so low they cannot contend in that fight. So I very much like that pickup, and if T-Mac is very, very good at hitting those bouncing bombs and putting the Hextech Minefield in the right positions, he's going to be a massive force to be reckoned with in this game.
Yeah, and of course, there's not many dashes coming out from Avantgarde either, so we've got the single blink on Smiley and the Vault Breaker, and that's pretty much it. You know, everyone else can't blink over those mines. You know, they got to jump through them, and that's a lot of damage in those team fights. There's no way to avoid it, really. Yeah,
well, that's true. So having that minefield in the right position is definitely going to be a good idea. Next is going to be able to get into that fight with the Dragon's Descent. I mean, that's another option as well, and something that I really do like is the fact that we've got that wild growth for the Shyvana in this game as well. I mean, last game it was on the side of Scissor used Earthquake, but having that on your Shyvana, having that massive tanky dragon, get all those extra tanky stats by utilizing that ultimate.
Yeah.
And then also having the wild growth for the extra health is a really, really good combo for making something that's pretty unkillable in the mid to late game.
Absolutely. And I would kind of like to see a Cho'Gath picked up with
I've always liked to see
with
a
a Lulu
Cho'Gath.
just to see how big he could get or something. But when it comes to Shyvana, I mean, that's very scary as she jumps in. It kind of turns her into a Malphite almost.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
She jumps in, knocks everyone back, which kind of gathers them together. And then Wild Growth just kind of picks them all up.
Yeah, it's like a poor man's unstoppable force, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes 2 people instead of 1. Maybe they should just play Malphite. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel the issue we're going to see here from Avantgarde is they don't have much follow-up. As you said, the Ezreal's got True Shot Barrage, but that's about it. You know, we're not seeing a Lucian that has lots of AoE damage to put down into it, or, you know, a champion like that to follow it up. And of course, you've got the Lulu, who is filling that AP carry role where you would usually have a lot more follow-up wombo combo damage, but you know, she's part of that engage.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I would have liked to see perhaps the Rumble and Shyvana picks being swapped and that would probably play into Avantgarde's favor because they do have a lot of lockdown. They've got the Crescendo. The Crescendo has always been like an age-old combination here with Equalizer to really lock people onto that. And as Equalizer was changed, I mean, it now ticks for a lot more damage rather than having that upfront burst, which is what it used to be used for. So you've really got to stand in it in order to do damage.
Exactly.
So stunning people in it is a fantastic idea, and you can have Lulu there to wild growth people on top of it as well. So that's definitely a good pickup. I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes. And I mean, Shyvana can do a lot of damage. I mean, we saw Dyrus in the NALCS. I mean, he played Shyvana full tank and still did a whole lot of damage. So it's interesting to see. We'll just have to see how the items progress and see who decides to build what and whether there can be enough damage coming out here for Avantgarde. But we're onto the Rift.
There we are, and we'll see where these guys decide to go for the level 1. As always, it was the 5-man defense the first time round.
Yeah, absolutely. And here on our red side, this time it's going to be Avantgarde. On the blue side, our Scissor used Earthquake. Also a little bit of a wrong call, as I did say before. I'm not too happy about that, but it's fine nonetheless. Scissor going to be using that Earthquake in this game, no problem at all.
See if it works for them.
Absolutely.
Moving up to the Rift. Looks like they're going to be going for the defense here, Avantgarde.
Surprise.
Yep, no surprises at all, honestly, but we'll see, of course. No wards picked up from these guys. And again, we're seeing Airy picking up that Ancient Coin for the level 1.
Yeah, this sort of standard support Morgana item, able to stay at range and utilize that one. I don't know whether it's necessarily the best decision, though, here, because Teals has opted for that Doran Shield, wanting to get aggressive early on. Happy to take that damage, has that extra regen in order to stay in that lane. Not going to take as much damage from auto attacks, and Morgana, without her Dark Binding, only has auto attacks for Harass, so that Doran Shield definitely going to be a good idea, and Teal's going to be throwing out those auto attacks like no tomorrow, as Sonas generally do. Not going to be all that tanky necessarily as a Sona, but you can put out a lot of damage early on, and that's what he's looking to do here. So we'll see what happens in this bottom lane. I'm excited to see how it develops.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too, the fact that we don't see 2v1s anymore because of the tower changes, and I feel this is one of those games where we might have seen that 2v1, the Jinx and Morgana swapping to get away from that Sona. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how much that single tower change shifted the meta.
Yeah, absolutely, and not necessarily as many of the, like Copenhagen Wolves over on EU LCS, of course, still do that lane swap quite often. So, I mean, it hasn't bothered them too much. There's still an opportunity here, but we're seeing a lot more 2v2 matchups, and I really do like that. I like being able to have a little bit more intricate matchup theology going on.
So, into the early game here, 2 minutes in. Blue Spawn, Profound's going to start at his own, and Prawnstar's going to start at his as well. So, Jungler's going to be on different sides of the maps. What are we expecting from that?
Yeah, possibly meeting up, and Prawnster did like to focus that bottom lane early on, so it's up to him. He's actually going to go off to his white really, really early for the second camp, so I haven't actually seen that one happen too much. Normally they go for the Wraiths or the Wolves first before getting to that next buff, but he's opted to go for that white. Interesting decision. Might be looking for an early gank in the top lane maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. Vi going to possibly be in the top lane as well, and Shyvana plus Vi is going to be a powerful combo against Slade here, and we'll see whether he can weather that storm if that gank does come through. Yeah,
and we can expect Sladier to get pushed in here. I mean, he's on that Rumble, so he's going to struggle as it is to be clearing out those creeps early on. Compared to Nex, look at him just burning those down. So I feel Sladier is going to be safe from a gank here, but he's going to be missing CS from that tower instead.
Yeah, Teal's taking a lot of damage.
Needs to be a little bit careful there, eating a lot of harass.
And I think that was Jack and Airy actually getting to level 2 a little bit before Teals and Smiley Face managed to. So putting that pressure down like they need to, really, really good work.
So taking a look at the mid lane as well. T-Mac, Psyker, just farming up a Storm right here. I'd expect to see a lot more poke come out of T-Mac. We've seen, you know, plays like Faker really show the world that Ziggs can be smashing these lanes by just spamming those bombs, making sure they always hit. And T-Mac going to put one down there, but definitely being a little bit more controlled in this middle lane.
Yeah, a little bit more reserved, you might say. And T-Mac does have the health lead there in that lane, but probably doesn't want to go too quickly because he understands that Lulu has the ability to cancel out a lot of that bomb damage with her shield there from her Whimsy. And we've got Profound here sitting on a ward. Not gonna
just chilling.
Not gonna worry here too much.
Just chilling, not killing.
Absolutely.
Not gonna get any ganks off there sitting on a ward, but we'll back out. Maybe head his way to the top lane where Sladia also has a ward in a wait. So AV not really in any kind of position to be challenging this Vision game right now.
So far, really nice Vision play here by Sladia and, of course, T-Mac as well. So really, really nice play there, stopping Profound from getting those early Vi ganks off. Of course, not necessarily her most powerful ganking time is pre-6, but still good to avoid that one. Bolt Breaker still a powerful maneuver. And ooh, Dark Binding so close. Yeah,
another one coming out. It's almost like the hook when you see that Binding land. You know there's going to be a big trade. But a good little return from Smiley gets the damage onto Jack.
Yeah, and the Black Shield now down in the bottom lane. I mean, maybe Smiley Face and Teal's going to be trying to go a little bit aggressive here. Jack down fairly low.
So, still going to be a slow game. No points for kills just yet. Only 4 minutes 45 down in here. But, I mean, Jack's still playing pretty aggressive. What are we expecting from this bottom lane as Jack and Smiley scale here?
Oh, a flash being forced here. I don't know whether that was necessarily needed there. I mean, Teals could have possibly copped that Dark Binding and just thrown out his Q for some extra damage there, but decided to play it as safe as possible. And it's probably good, to be honest, to be better safe than sorry in that lane, just because it is so volatile.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Jack just happy to keep pushing this one up. Using a lot of rockets though, so he's low on mana. You can see Profound's made his way up here as well. Looked like he was going to gank Sladia, but didn't really get anything off. Sladia just keeping him from that base. Snare lands, though. Going to follow it up with a zap. Just sneaks through before that creep comes in.
Yeah, very, very nice play here from the bottom lane coming out of Sizzy used Earthquake. But next now going on Sladia, and Sladia turning it around.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage. Has got that overheat, doing a bit of bonus damage. And Sladia looking pretty confident on this Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely. He was in a lane against both Profound and Nex, and just happy to go toe-to-toe. 2v1, so not a problem here at all.
Well, I mean, his name used to be Ramble, so perhaps Ramble and Rumble go hand in hand.
Ramble in the Jamble, absolutely. So definitely looking comfortable, and I like that pick. I like the fact that we're seeing so much more Rumble. He's an interesting champion to see played, and something new other than that Shyvana Mundo Renekton that we've been seeing so much of in the top lane.
Absolutely. And there's still a slow game right here. Not much happening across the map. Junglers not really having much of an impact. I feel like Prawn Stars is going for that level 6 like he did in game number 1. And then perhaps he'll be camping this bottom lane. But right now, Teals and Smiley are in a very good position not to get ganked.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very even here on the CS as well in that bottom lane. And both of these junglers, actually, the reason why we've got such a sort of passive starting out the gate is that the Paranoia and the Insultant Battery are basically the main weapons that both of these junglers use in their ganks. So the fact that they're not up to those levels yet means that there's probably going to be a more passive game going on at this point. Only 300 gold the difference, and that's made up for here by CS on the side of Sizzy used Earthquake. So very, very nice work there as far as keeping that one up. And Rumble definitely winning this lane, up by about 6 CS, and did actually manage to go back as well, pick up some items. Yeah. Both Nex as well, also picking up that Giant's Belt there. So Sladia doing a really nice job. It's difficult, as we were saying before, to farm on Rumble, so definite kudos.
Yeah, using that overheat as well for the bonus damage lets him CS under that tower. And, you know, a lot of pros really talk about the Rumble pick as one of the more tough ones to pull off, and it's all about micromanaging that heat level.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to make sure that you keep that in the yellow for as long as possible without necessarily overheating at times where you're going to need a shield or potentially a slow involved. So it's intelligent play, and it's when you're a Rumble player, and you're really, really good at it. It's one of those like right.
Whoa, there's a gank into the mid. It's right onto Psyker as well. The mines come out, slow him down. Fear lands as well, and Psyker only taken to about half health right now. Not really in any point of disaster for him. gets out, no problems.
Yeah, that wild growth giving him so much
Oh,
health
Teals
there.
goes
There
down,
is
and that's the first blood. Amy in big trouble there, gets the tether off. Not going to be enough, and Smiley on the run now. Gets hit by the zap, turns it around with a true shot barrage. Here comes Profound. Will Smiley go down? There's no vision for Jack. He gets saved by Profound, but no.
Oh, wow.
Flash into the rocket. Brilliantly done from Jack. He gets excited, and he gets out.
Wow, that flash forward into the rocket and then got excited and got away. That was so incredibly well played.
Inferno Bomb, not going to find the target. Nice flash from Psycho.
Yeah, T-Mac actually doing the cool guys don't looking at explosions and just walked away there and then noticed the flash come through. A little bit unfortunate there, didn't manage to secure that kill, but got the flash, which is of course a longer cooldown than the Mega Inferno Bomb. So not bad at all. Definitely would still take that trade, and some really, really nice plays coming out here. And 2 kills on Jinx early on, that is so scary for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, and she's going to be a huge hyper carry into this late game. Picked up the BF sword as well as that Vampiric Scepter, so Jack's looking strong.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bilge Rod Cutlass picked up in response here by Smiley Face, so wanted to go for that Blade of the Ruin King route again. Definitely feeling like that was the option that he wanted to go for, and who can blame him? He did play very, very well in that last game. It went 8-2-6, so can't fault him on that build. It was just a little bit interesting having no Triforce there on Ezreal.
So we usually see trinkets swapped out at around the 9-minute mark, that first or second base for the sweeper. But Slady's in trouble up here as well. Profound's making his way through. Has the Vault Breaker. Doesn't have the Assault and Battery just yet. Nice equalizer from Sladia. Can he turn this one around? It's a 2v1, and he's taking so much damage. I don't think he will. He's running towards the wrong base, trying to do the damage. Profound takes him out.
Yeah, nice try there by Sladia, but it was a really good gank. Oh, meanwhile in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Jinx has already gone down. It was a nice catch from Teals. He's used that crescendo as well as the flash. So Smiley doing a good job of backing up his support on that engage. Oh, Snare comes out. Eri might pick up a kill. He has the Soul Shackles. No, only seconds away from that being off cooldown, and Teals, he gets away.
Man, it's just come up that second. That was very, very unfortunate timing there by Eri. Possibly could have secured that kill with just the base damage there of that Soul Shackles, but really nice play by Teals and Smiley Face managing to pick up a kill in that lane. And having that Flash Crescendo available, just really locking up Jinx, knowing that they have the damage potential in order to get that kill is a massive deal. Teals understanding that he can flash forward, get that, and they have enough damage together in order to pick that one up. Really, really nice work. And they've now secured a 22 CS lead here in that lane. So 1-1-1 on that Ezreal, definitely not that bad, especially with having a 21 CS lead and missing out on 1 kill for an assist.
Yeah, so overall it's 2-3 here in the favor of Avant-Garde, and that's what they like. They're a game up in this best of 3 series, and Scissor use Earthquake. Can't really afford to drop this one, else they won't have that shot at the grand finals. Of course, this is the round of 4. Winner of this moves on to the grand finals for their chance to qualify into Autumn.
Yeah, absolutely. And Avant-Garde going to have to win another best of 3 in the grand final for this Challenger Series after this game if they want to come through as well. So this is only the start of the issue, but here we are. There's another gank in the bot lane.
Well, Ares used that Black Shield already. Jack, it's finally discharged, and will Profound be able to get in? Doesn't have the Vault Breaker, but Jack is already being taken out. Profound with the kill secure right there. Good job from Teals and Smiley to make sure that they could pick that up. I
really like that jungle rotation. Profound coming down to that bot lane, picking up the kill on the AD carry, and that's going to net them a free dragon here because there's not going to be very much that Scissor used Earthquake can do in order to stop this with 1 man down. I mean, they're just not going to have Jinx for long enough. Mega Inferno Bomb is here for the attempted steal, and there's also a Paranoia.
Oh, this is going to be the engage. Inferno Bomb misses everybody. Prawnstars is in the Dragon Pit all by himself. Dragon is taken low. Will he get the smite off? No, it goes to Profound. Profound so good at those smites.
Yeah, really, really nice play. And Psyker picking up that kill as well. So definitely going to be able to use this money in order to stop getting as bullied by T-Mac in the mid lane. And this is exactly what happened last game. They pick up the Dragon. This time they managed to get a fight out of it as well. A fight where they came out ahead and managed to kill off the jungler. So Avant-Garde are going to be so happy with this, and especially after having their bottom lane not lose at all. They did really, really well. I mean, it looked a bit dangerous there with the double kill from Jinx, but they've really come back, and Teals with that Flash Crescendo was just so impressive in order to do that for them.
Yeah, and this really looks like a good AV that we usually see in these pro events. Of course, last game, in the early game, they really struggled, but they pulled it back for the late game. And I feel this time round in the early mid game, it's the confidence really playing strong for Avant-Garde because they're looking strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do like a lot of the teamfight potential here coming from Scissor used Earthquake, so we can't count them out just yet, but so far it's looking much better for Avant-Garde than it even did last game, and last game they actually won.
Yeah, they did, and Psyker just roaming down here, faking a bit of a roam actually, going to head back. Prawnstars counter wards after Psyker. But meanwhile,
Slady's
the
in
top
trouble.
lane, nice assault and battery to start this one off. Slady's in trouble, puts down the equalizer. Not going to be enough to help him get out. Has to flash, and that will be enough.
That was fantastic use of the equalizer, managing to slow both Nex and Profound after that assault and battery went off, and he just wanders out of there casually. No worries at all, stays alive, and draws 2 people to this top lane as well. Prawnster is actually there in order to keep up if he wants to, but Slady just happy to chill out, and he's just going to stay in that lane and farm up that CS, so really nice work.
So, 2-5 now, Avantgarde still in the lead. Just under a 3k gold lead for them as well. Nex, pretty low. Top lane has been a bit of an island, and I feel like both of these champions have come out evenly.
Yeah, absolutely. The only issue about this top lane being an island, I mean, Shyvana is happy to split push all day, but the main thing that a Rumble wants to do is team fight. He wants to get that equalizer on top of a whole team and really swing these fights around. And if Slater just sits in that top lane for this entire game, that's going to be a massive detriment to his team. So he's really got to try and get out of that lane, shove it up as much as possible, and try and make plays across this map, because he might be the turning point for this game and might be their way back into it.
Whoa, Inferno Bomb actually being thrown out there just to clear out those mid lane creeps. Here comes Psycho, he has vision. T-Mac is in big trouble, gets taken low. Ignite is ticking, and that's an easy kill for Psycho. Steals the blue buff as well with that kill.
Yeah, using T-Mac in order to tank up that blue buff that he was just holding on for him there. And just really, really nice play there from Psycho, and really good warding by Avantgarde.
Yeah, a little bit awkward there when the blue buff's more tanky than the guy who steals it.
Yeah, it is a little bit. But, you know, the blue buff did wear him down a little bit. You know, he wasn't at full force.
Blue buff should have gotten an assist there, I feel.
I think it probably did. Let's be real.
All right. Ward in the bottom lane going to be cleared out here by that sweeper. So Airy keeping the control for his AD carry, and right back, Teals puts another.
Yeah, very, very cheeky play there. Slater going up against Psyker, and Psyker's starting to be a real menace in this mid lane.
Whoa, Slater's in trouble, gets knocked straight up, pops the equalizer, it's not going to be enough. Profound does take a lot of damage. Oh, nice paranoia, gets the return kill, but now Prawnstar's into 2v1. Psyker's coming around their back, has Ziggs at his defense. It's a 2v2 here as T-Mac rather joins it. Oh, and look at the positioning. Psyker out of position, has to flash into the Wolves to escape here. Good defense. Oh, and the super mega death rocket just falling short. That came from Jinx, obviously, which is from obviously
from the bottom lane, yeah.
From the bottom lane, so a long shot there.
Yeah, trying to get the snipe off, and it was a good attempt. I mean, that could have been potentially where that Lulu was going, but not to be the case here, and Jack missing out on that kill potentially going his way. But it was a nice paranoia into, as far as picking up that follow-up kill was concerned, but they still go 1-for-1 there under that turret after Slater goes down.
Oh,
very
nice. Catches both of them. Good flash from Jack as well. Gets out of the True Shot barrage, but Ignite ticks him down. Obviously, the spell shield not going to block the true damage, and Smiley gets the return onto Airy. Another auto attack from T-Mac does pick up the kill, and T-Mac going to turn to find Teals. Not going to be able to get him.
That's still definitely going to be worth it there for Avantgarde, though. Picking up a double kill under their AD carry, or at least a kill and an assist there. So Teals managing to pick up that first one. Really, really nice play, the Ignite ticking down there. So only one follow-up kill, so Teals survives, and they're going to call that worth. And it's a 3v2 situation as well. So really, really nice play by Avantgarde.
Mid lane goes down as well there. Psyker picks that one up for his team. Prawnstars not going to be able to defend it just yet. Profound actually making his way over. Going to find Prawnstars. Get into a bit of a tussle here. Don't think there's going to be a kill though. Just a slugfest. Throwing punches each way.
Yeah, T-Mac is doing really, really well roaming around this map trying to make plays as much as he can. They've realized that they're not necessarily winning the 1v1 matchups in their lanes, so T-Mac trying to rotate around this map and create picks and opportunities for his team, which is a really, really smart thing to do. And something that Slater really needs to do also, and he's hanging around to that mid lane as well, so he has the same idea.
Yeah, Prawnstar's going to pick up his red buff here, and I feel there's a bit of a lull in the game, you know. Avantgarde picked up a couple of objectives. Dragon's up in 40 seconds, so they're just slowing it down, you know. Get that ward coverage that they need for the Dragon. But how are they going to approach this?
I think they want to definitely try and get this next Dragon. That's what they want to be concentrating on first, solidifying a larger gold lead. It's only about 4,000 at this point, so nothing to really write home about. They can't really sit on their laurels at this point. And just concentrate on winning more. If they can keep this laning phase up, they're winning it, so they may as well continue it. So they're going to take this Dragon and then continue to push down on lanes. And I think they want to focus on the bottom lane, just get that last outer turret, the easiest turret they can possibly get. We've got a few people here from Sizzy Used Earthquake hanging around, but they are spotted by multiple wards here. Just really, really nice vision coverage here by Avantgarde.
Well, Nex starts up that Dragon. I think it was unintentional there from the Sunfire Cape as well. Profound, Teals, and Psycho all here to fight this. There's the Dragon to set across the wall. Next all by himself in the 1v4 situation. So much damage though, and look at that. Jack gets destroyed by Profound as the Assault and Battery comes through. Oh, fail flash from Nex. Soul Shackle going to lock up too, but it's not going to be enough. Smiley kiting the best of his abilities right there, and Sladia going to be able to follow right there. A couple more hits will do it. Smiley goes down. T-Mac caught as well, and AV are cleaning up this fight. 2 for 1 already, and Teals might be the next kill right here, and it's Sladia that goes down instead.
Yeah, Teal's getting a nice little shield there from his Lulu friend, but T-Mac and Area in a lot of trouble. Precarious position down here.
Oh, easy kill there onto T-Mac. Gets blown up by Psyker. Eri just gonna walk back to base. Oh, snipe from downtown. The Super Mega Death Rocket takes out AV Nex.
Yeah, and there it is. The bottom turret goes down as well, so they get an objective of, like, also for their trouble, and it was a very chaotic fight. Everyone's so incredibly low, not necessarily getting that many kills, and everyone's sort of losing people left, right, and center, but the turret did end up going to Avant-Garde, so managing to pick up that objective being the important part, and 5,000 gold is the difference here. Prawnster is here, though.
Can he steal is the question. He's going to jump on a Psyker. Can he get the Fear? Fear does go down, but Prawnstar's not going to be able to do enough damage. Big zap. Not going to be enough, though.
Yeah, Prawnster's very tanky at this point. Has that Giant's Belt on top of the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. And Smiley is such a beast.
Oh, he is, and look at that Inferno Bomb comes through as well. Prawnstar's still fighting this one out. The damage onto Dragon does go to Profound. He gets it with his Smite. Jack in big trouble, and Smiley just chasing him down. Barrier does get popped. Nice equalizer. Double kill for Smiley, though. Slady is going to turn it around. A couple more hits on a Smiley would do it. Jumps across the wall right into a T-Mac and gets taken out.
Yeah, Smiley didn't quite know where that Ziggs was, and unfortunately, Arcane shifted right on top of him, but Eri in trouble now.
Yeah, I don't think he knew what he was running into either. Look at that Wild Growth health as well. Psyker picks up a kill. Actually, no, Teals does.
Yeah, Teals 4-1 and 9 there on that Sonar. Bloodthirsty support, absolutely. Doe would be definitely proud.
I'm proud.
Oh, everyone is. Everyone is. Teals just a monster on that Sonar. Picking up those kills left, right, and
Such a good support, man. And I mean, the synergy there with Smiley has really pulled them into this game. 16 for 7, AV with a pretty convincing lead right now.
Yeah, and 5-0 and 3 here from Psyker as well. Sort of the unsung hero of this game. Has picked up that Sheen, and he's doing so much damage. It's a little bit, Oh, meanwhile, actually a fight. Prawnster on next.
Well, Tether's going to go down next. Pretty fast, though. He's baiting this one. I feel this is control fight for him next. He knows he can escape. Slady going to come around as well. So no one's going to die, but we're only 20 minutes in here.
Yeah, only 20 minutes in, and we've got Nex being an absolute menace around here. And off to the side, we've got Profound and Smiley Face. This is a bit of a bait here.
Oh, True Shot Barrage comes through. Sladia getting focused. So is Prawnstars. We'll see who goes down first. Nice Paranoia, but it's not going to be enough. Just tried to save his teammate. Sladia goes down, though. Profound not going to be able to re-engage, but that's a quick kill for AV.
Yeah, T-Mac is a little bit low as well, really low on mana. This could potentially be the inner turret here in the middle lane if Sizzy used Earthquake isn't careful, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Oh, no.
T-Mac now caught out.
Yeah, and he's dead.
Yeah, that was too quick for me to even stop talking to let you have a go there, Place. That was just a monstrous kill.
Yeah, and really good rotation as well. I mean, Ezreal getting in position for that one as well as Profound, and T-Mac just getting caught off guard. Tower's going to go down, though. No, they've got a different idea. They want to kill Jack. Look at the damage out of Psyker. You do not expect that from a Lulu.
Absolutely not, and that was just the tip of the crescendo there as well by Teals. Really, really nice knowledge of that ability.
So Tower goes down. Avant-Garde going to rotate to the top, where meanwhile, Nex has been poking this tower down all by himself. Sladia, can he defend it?
That's a really large creep wave. You could imagine that. There's a Super Mega Inferno Bomb coming through to clear that out.
Super Mega Death Rocket hasn't been used just yet. Profound going to be focusing down this inhibitor, and AV want to close out. Smiley gets caught out. Look at that damage as well. It came from that equalizer. Bombs coming through. Nex is far behind. He's been left by his team. Super Mega Death Rocket hits him. Bombs still flying. Can Avant-Garde escape?
Is the Song of Celerity going to be enough? Does still have the Dragon's Descent, though, at his disposal does Nex, so he's just wandering, happy just
What's T-Mac doing? Oh, they're going to turn the fight. Nex goes back in. Look at the damage on Eri. He gets blown up, and Slater gets knocked up, tag teamed, and he is in big trouble getting taken solo. Nex on the run. Prawnstars manages to escape around the back, and finally Slater goes down. Jack barely gets touched, but T-Mac, you're gone.
Yeah, T-Mac in an odd position here, and Psyker manages to just CC him down, and he's going to spam some laughs here a lot. So that's definitely fun. Profound's picking up that kill. A nice turnaround here, and 22-8. This has become a bit of a snowball. It's 13,000 gold, and where did that come from, Place? I mean,
Well,
it was fairly even for a long time in this game, and then all of a sudden, Avant-Garde just went, "No, we're winning this game."
yeah, you see, Avant-Garde started with a snowball, and then they picked up a couple of other snowballs in the different lanes, and all of a sudden there was an avalanche falling down here on a Scyther-use Earthquake, and of course, you can't use... Oh, there's an engaged. Psyker's in trouble. Nice crescendo from Teals. Makes Prawnstar's turn and run with his tail between his legs. Doesn't even have legs. But
yeah, and Teals not even caring about this Dark Binding either. He just says, "Come at me, bro. I'm happy to hang out here and hit. You can hit me as much as you want." Psyker's still spamming laugh, and hopefully he goes back, gets some health back, and maybe stops spamming that rather annoying laugh.
Well, Psyker's got to be happy, though, and that's probably why he's laughing, because he's one game closer, if they win this, to qualifying into Autumn.
Absolutely, and Avant-Garde next has actually picked up the Sorcerer's Shoes here on Shyvana, and I love that pickup. There is actually a little bit of action, so I'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, Ares being caught out. Not sure if he's going to go down just yet. There's a Dragon's Descent, and this is where AV want to secure their kills. Nice Equalizer goes down. Next flashes to take out the kill. Profound's joined him as well, rotating down from the middle lane. T-Mac hasn't been caught out just yet, and they're going to hold on to their Assault and Battery, save it for a later engage. Smiley just going to work down this inhibitor.
Yeah. With Airy down, they're easily going to be able to take this 5v4.
Prawnstar's
solo.
He's solo, and he does go down. T-Mac sitting off to the side as well. Assault and Battery still available. Profound turns it, and he goes straight for Sladia. Knocks him back as well with that Vault Breaker, and Smiley in a 1v1 with T-Mac on the right side. T-Mac, oh, the flashes all over the place. T-Mac is going to go down. Lulu picks it up. No, it's the burn from Smiley Face. Double kill for him.
Oh,
It's a triple kill with that, and look at the damage. It's all about AV. They're going to pick up this second game. They want to. They're pushing onto this Nexus turret.
Yeah, they're running out of creeps now, though. It might take a little bit longer than that, but Airy is back up again, and the death times just aren't that high. It's only 24 minutes into this game. Prawnstar now is available. Only 15 seconds here on T-Mac as well, and Slater up in the same amount of time. So it's not likely they're going to be able to finish this game, but they will definitely be able to take this inhibitor turret. Or maybe not. Prawnstar even able to save that one.
Wow, and good job from him as well. Psyker has that Lich Bane, so he could have burnt it down quite well right there. Ooh, runs past a pink ward as well, so going to grab that one as well. But 10 to 27 now in the favor of Avant-Garde.
And the real story here is that 7 turrets to 0 here. And Avant-Garde just able to get the pressure on this map. And with the knowledge of the game, they're able to rotate, take the towers that they need to, and move on to the next ones. And it's just really, really good to see. And it's fantastic play out of Avant-Garde, showing that they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and 25 minutes in, 50,000 gold onto the side of Avant-Garde. That's pretty good. 2,000 a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're up to about 15,000 gold in the head, in the lead, in the head.
Well, there's the paranoia right into the head of Smiley Face. He jumps away, and there's the Inferno Bomb coming through. Prawnstar just gets pulled all over the place right there. Doesn't manage to get out. He does go down to Shyvana right there. Shyvana goes down as well. Teals on the run. The crescendo wasn't enough to buy him time, and it's all about Scyther-use Earthquake turning this one around.
Yeah, Psyker and Smiley Face, the only ones here that are actually able to do anything. Profound got taken down so incredibly low, and this is what we were talking about. Scyther-used Earthquake managed to get off the combination that we were discussing earlier on, and that Mega Inferno Bomb and Equalizer combo still, even though they're down so much gold, still did so much work against Avant-Garde. So really, really nice to see.
So maybe, Avant-Garde don't have this one in the bag like they were kind of suspecting there. I feel they rushed the mid lane, didn't really work out. Airy going to find the second pink ward there, but this is a dragon. T-Mac's very low. Psycho might be able to take him out in a 1v1. Are they going to find it? Ooh. It's going to be the traps. Nice. T-Mac already has his satchel charge down. T-Mac secures that dragon, but it's a very minimal victory for him right there.
Absolutely, and I think Profound was there as well.
Check out this bush here, Atlas.
That's a lot of wards.
I think they've got vision.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's an important brush to have wards in, so they've definitely got that one locked down. Psyker now taking away that blue buff, definitely what he wants.
Oh man, look at this, just the base defense here. It's kind of PvE mode now for Scyther-use Earthquake.
Yeah, and this middle inhibitor turret is being taken down solo. Remember also that these actually regen health, so that was... Oh, the Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but a little bit late. Assault and Battery comes through. T-Mac's in big trouble, and you can see the re-engage. Smiley Face doing the damage from the back. True Shot Barrage going to not take T-Mac out. T-Mac survived it somehow. Airy taking so much damage. Jack throws in the Super Inferno Bomb. It's not going to be a... And Smiley, can he find the damage? Not quite. Psyker in a lot of trouble, gets taken out. Shutdown kill for Jack, and it looks like Scissor are going to be able to chase this one. Yes, look at that turnaround.
Volt Break hits him as well. Airy, brilliant ultimate into the Zhonya's. He will die when he comes out, but isn't enough for Prawnstar jumping in there with the Paranoia as well. Gets a double kill. Smiley Face and Teal's the only survivors. 3 members of AV going down. Oh, Smiley's going for the play. Finds it with the twist or the advance over the wall right there. Prawnstar's, can he find it? Fear goes down. Teal's taking a lot of damage, so is Prawnstar's. AV probably going to come out ahead, and Smiley finds the kill.
The Smiley Face show has finished, everyone. Oh, actually, no, maybe it hasn't. T-Mac now trying to give it a go. Is he going to be able to take this one down?
As the Arcane Shift goes in right after the inhibitor, dodges the bomb, mini step to the left, going to save him. Dodges under the next one, Smiley Face. What a legend.
Yeah, I am never doubting Smiley Face when he picks Ezreal up ever again. He is a monster on that champion. If he dies now from a Mega Inferno Bomb, I'm going to laugh a lot, but Super Mega Death Rocket isn't actually available, and he's managed to get back to base, but backing on top of a ward's pretty dangerous with the amount of globals that are available over here. But
Jet
wow.
could have sniped him out too.
Yeah, he did so much work, Smiley Face, in that fight. He was just kiting back. He went so low and then got back up again. It was... The Mikhail's Crucible was also fantastic use there by Teals as well. So definitely have to hand it to him. 6-3-23 now on that Sona. What a monster. And Baron now going to be the focus here for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, they're just two-manning it to begin with. Rest of the team coming around. Smiley just taking that red buff out first. He's pretty confident with this Baron. But rest of Scizor are coming around.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what they're going to be able to do. That Paranoia was not available.
Oh.
Prawns is now in trouble.
I do not want to be Prawnstars in this situation. Nice equalizer. It's going to be AV running through the whole thing. Crescendo comes through as well, and this is an interesting fight. Next going to jump in all by himself. T-Mac trying to throw the bombs over the wall, but no real kills coming out just yet. Everyone survived.
Yeah, but they're still on the back foot here. The Baron advantage is for Avant-Garde, so we'll see whether they try and keep this pressure on.
Oh, Profound. He doesn't have that Assault and Battery, so he only has that Volt Breaker for the engage. Satchel come out. Bomb's going to come out. Inhibitor has respawned, though, so they are going to be able to take it out. AV melting it down pretty quickly. Look at that Lich Bane hit from Psyker. Incredible damage.
Yeah, doing amazing work. Unfortunately, the bottom lane is pushing really far in favor, actually, of Scizor-used Earthquake. So giving them a little bit of respite. They're not able just to cycle around and pick that one up unless they want to tank up that turret, which it looks like Nex is pretty keen on, to be perfectly honest, after he steals away this red buff. But Scizor-used Earthquake are in a very precarious position here at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on the defense here, they're kind of grouping inside that turtle and just sitting in the base.
Yeah, sort of not able to really make too many decisions themselves. It's all about reactionary play at this point for them. And it's a little bit like circling the drain, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be very difficult for them to find their way back into this game. And Avant-Garde, I mean, they've been playing for so long that they know how to finish out games, and they're most likely not going to throw this one. And that's definitely what it would be if Scizor-used Earthquake did win this one. Well,
to be a little bit critical here, though, I mean, Avant-Garde, they are struggling to close out this game. They're kind of just smashing Scizor into the ground here with so many kills and not really being able to close it out. And I feel that's a bit of a mistake when it comes to team cohesion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do have these 2 inhibitors down, though, so it is a matter of time before they get the pressure they need. And this is the position they want to be in at this point. Pushing down on this bottom turret when one member at least is going to need to be protecting this lone Nexus turret that's protecting them from 2 lanes of super creeps. So this is exactly what they need to be doing. It's just the slow and steady way of winning this game.
All right, so Smiley going to be poking out there as well. You can see the zaps coming out as well as those bombs clearing out those waves. But here we go.
Wow, so much damage on that turret.
Paranoia popped already. There's the equalizer. Where is Nocturne? He's not jumping in. It finally comes down from the top side, and Jack taking so much damage. Next jumps in. Prawnstar's going to be taken out. And look at the Soul Shackle from Airy. Forces Smiley back. He Arcane shifts straight back in and gets the kill onto Airy. Smiley, only a single kill so far. Look at the Lich Bane hit from Psyker onto Tiamat, almost killing him by itself. Meanwhile, Super Minions onto their Nexus, and this is going to be the game. AV moving into the Grand Finals for their shot to qualify into the Riot Autumn Regionals.
Congratulations to Avant-Garde. That was fantastic play. And throughout that mid-game, they just played it so well. They picked up a meticulous game. It was just objective after objective, finishing it off. And it was just really, really well played there by Avant-Garde. And it's not over yet, though. That's the thing. They're going to have to take this to the grand final and see whether they can get their spot, lock it in for the round of 8. And it's going to be tough because we've got another best of 3 to cast straight after this. And it'll be the winner of that has to then defeat Avant-Garde. And I'm so excited to play.
Yeah, it's going to be SYF and Optic Snipers in that second best of 3, and the winner of that, best of 3, obviously will move on to the grand finals, up against Avant-Garde. Winner of that gets into the Riot Autumn Regionals, where they can play for a spot into Winter, and of course, a lot of stuff for them, obviously, as a team.
Absolutely. And the round of 8 is just going to be a monster of a tournament, so let's get it underway. We'll just wait for the teams to get ready. We'll be back very, very soon with the next game.
Don't go anywhere.
So,
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Pepper, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game with the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer.
And we're back, guys, here at the Riot Challenger Qualifiers here for the Autumn Regionals. And the second best of 3 of the day, it's going to be SYF taking on Optic Snipers. This is going to be a big one. Winner of this goes into the grand finals up against Avant-Garde, where they're going to be competing for the last spot in the Autumn Regionals.
Yeah, and it's going to be super exciting. I'm, of course, Atlas, joined by the lovely Place, and we're ready to bring you this next game. We are almost into Champion Select now. We've got a few lightning bolts coming through, and the first band's coming out. And are you expecting any potential targeted bans? I'm thinking more on the side here of SYF. Pempty really rings a bell as far as that's concerned.
Exactly. And I would expect a target ban against his Swain, actually, because he played Swain in the Cybergamer qualifiers yesterday and was a force to be reckoned with. Was absolutely destroying people. And potentially Optic Snipers won't see this and might not know about that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. They're going to ban out that Elise.
Yeah, Elise definitely a good ban regardless. And another option here on the side of SYF is Turkey, who's
Absolutely.
a monstrous Thresh player. I pretty much saw him land 94% of his hooks in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him play, so he's just an absolute monster. One ban is actually missing here on the side of SYF because they did take a little bit longer, I assume.
Well, they're using their second ban on the Renekton anyway, targeted at Joska. Joska's #1 champion is the Renekton. And we talk about Renekton a lot. You know, a lot of top laners play him, obviously. But when it comes to Joska, that's his #1 by a really far way.
Yeah, and SYF have actually missed out on a couple of bans just because they are a little bit late this time, so they're going to be missing a couple of bans. Going to be able to ban away at least one champion, though, and most likely it's going to be either Yasuo or
Well, what do you
Cassidy
pick?
in there.
What do you pick? You're one ban.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be difficult.
You ban out Teemo. That's what you do.
But yeah, we'll see what they do decide to go for, what definitely the highest threat is going to be for this first game. Of course, being on red side is a little bit more difficult when you've only got one ban, because you're definitely giving a first pick away to somebody else. But you can also leave up a couple of chances as well, because you can get a lot of those OPs if you're the second pick as well, because you get sort of another dib into that position. Cassidy being banned out here for our blue side, though.
Okay, banning it away from Pempty. I would have expected maybe a Ziggs or an Italy ban, and seeing those two are going to get through, maybe Pempty will pick that up. I feel SYF have really had their best results over the past few months with poke engage comps, and so that really plays to the strengths of both Jono and Josker as tank players, as well as Pempty on poke-style mid laners, and so we'll see. The only ban that SYF are going to have, they're going to go with Gragas.
Yeah, and that Thresh being locked in, taking it away from Turkey and giving it to Ice Cold Killer there, so really, really nice pickup. Definitely worth picking away from Turkey. And the Vi now going over to Jono, and Jono is a massive Vi player.
Absolutely, and I feel Vi definitely one of those better junglers here for the Challenger qualifiers. Josker, what's he going to pick up in this top lane? Shyvana's available for him, so he can pick that up.
There's a lot of things available. Only the Renekton being taken away from that pool of champions in the top lane. I mean, we've seen a lot of different top laners. The Rumble and the Jax being the only ones that have been a little bit more different. We've also had, of course, the Mundo and the Shyvanas, as you were saying, of course. So any of those original trifecta, apart from Renekton, are available. So Josh could pick one of them up. He could also pick up something else. So maybe a high contention mid lane champion, such as they could lock in the Vi Yasuo combo right now.
We're just going to go with that Shyvana. Decided on it.
Smart
Picks
move.
it, locks it. That's going to be it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jakey and 4G33K, 4Geek. 4G33K. I think I might go with that one because it's what it looks like to me. I understand what it means. Okay, fair enough.
All right, there. Well, we'll see what they pick up. They've got the Thresh, so they're going for an aggressive bot lane at least. Absolutely.
We'll see. Do you think that they might try and lock in possibly a Lucian here?
I would expect a Lucian pick, and at the very least, it takes it away from Ant Soldier. And Ant Soldier's an SYF sub, and he kind of has been filling multiple roles over all of their qualifiers so far. We've seen him support mid-top. We've seen him everywhere. And today, he's in the AD carry role, and at least taking the Lucian away from SYF kind of stops them from doing one of those poke comps that they really love.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely a good idea. 4Geek actually looking at that Lulu that's been so prevalent in this mid lane. And looks like a pretty good option to me. Alongside that Thresh as well, that's so much utility already with only 2 champions. But
there's Lucian. Are we going to lock it in, I think?
I think so. This is a very good start here.
It's going to be an AP Lulu mid if they lock that one in.
Yeah.
Man, wouldn't it be cool if it was an AP Thresh, though? Just mind game everyone.
I like top lane Thresh going like Bloodthirst or Warmogs. It's hilarious. Cool. It's actually hilarious. The flay damage. Pretty epic. Ant Soldier actually locking in that, hovering over the Sivir. I love that pickup. Fantastic for the engage potential. We saw a similar comp coming out from CLG. They had access to the Lulu, of course, as well with that Whimsy, but with the On the Hunt as well as the Dragon's Descent coming out from Shyvana and Syndra being hovered over here as well. And Pempty is a dominant Syndra player.
Absolutely locks it in. And man, that is going to be one scary team comp coming out of SYF. They've got the Shyvana as well. And honestly, Shyvana and Vi, when it comes to dive buddies, they got to be one of the best out there. They've got a lot of CC, a lot of ways to engage, and a lot of ways to disengage if they want as well. You tap Pempty on Syndra on the back of that, and you've got yourself a 3-man team fight. Yeah, and I'm super excited about the Turkey pickup here as well, because we know Turkey as being a monstrous support player. Do you reckon that the Leona's going to be locked in here? I reckon that would be a definite positive choice here. I'd like to see an Alistar pickup. Oh, well, I think everyone would always like to see an Alistar pick up. It's one of those picks that we only ever see out of Eviscerate and Mindfreak, but I think, I don't know, we'll see what Turkey decides to go with here. Regardless, on the side of Optic Snipers, of course, we've got Pantheon and Mundo locked in there. Yeah, Pantheon and Mundo. Mundo, another member of that top lane trifecta, and we've seen Mundo versus Shyvana many times, and it looks like Pantheon's going to be here in the jungle as well, which is definitely good. Another one of those champions that's really risen to quite a prevalence and has been making a lot of waves. Does have a lot more early game pressure than a Vi does as well. So we're looking to see Jakey really try and make some plays and get them ahead early on in this game. So it's going to be the Annie lock in there for Turkey in the bottom lane. Another champion he's played a lot throughout the last couple of months in these qualifiers. And, you know, we'll see how he goes. He's with that Sivir. What are you expecting
Well, I like the Annie pickup. Considered a little bit better against that Thresh than the likes of Leona, who does fall victim to the Flay being very, very powerful. Annie, of course, is going to outrange that Thresh. You can utilize the stun, of course, coming out from Annie as well, so you can put it on top of that Thresh or even Nest and locking them down and all that sort of stuff. So you also have on the hunt as well. So having Annie with extra mobility, able to run up to someone and plonk some Tibbers down.
Tibbers on the hunt, man.
Oh, man, that is... Yeah, getting Tibbers on the hunt is pretty exciting and pretty volatile in that bottom lane.
And Turkey's one of those bloodthirsty supports as well. He's never afraid to engage.
Absolutely.
We'll see him in this early game probably start with Incinerate the W, charge it up early, and sit deep in the bottom lane bushes to make sure that he has that fear factor for Optic Snipers. We'll probably see him push an advantage that way for Ant Soldier. But got to remember, Ant Soldier's not their usual AD carry, and so that plays in the back of their mind at least a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to like work on that synergy, of course, but Annie and Civ are just so naturally good at... They've got their own donkey whistles, I will say, which is on the hunt, you pop that on the hunt and everyone knows what you want to do, right? It's like a whistle to everyone.
Yeah, it's like an Amumu. Lands the bandage, so you see the curse of the sand mum. It's like, oh, yeah, we're fighting.
I know what's happening right now. I know exactly what's happening.
They've got their go skills.
Yeah, exactly. And Tibbers comes down from the sky, you're going to want to auto-attack people. That's exactly what you want to... You feel like doing as soon as that happens. So even though they don't necessarily have built up synergy over the time, it's an easy lane to really work with each other in. So I really do like that pickup if they are a little bit less comfortable with each other. But the Lucian Thresh lane, we haven't spoken about it, and it's been used all the time. It is such a meta pickup, and it's just so much damage. You land a death sentence, and that piercing light comes through, the Ardent Blaze comes through, and in between, he's just weaving in those double auto attacks, doing so much damage.
And I actually love the Sivir pick because of that. I mean, it's going to stop at least one of those big spells from hitting him in these trades, and it'll be interesting. I mean, if the hook gets shielded instead, there's still the Flay to watch out for, and obviously all the damage out of Lucian, but... getting rid of that hook is a big deal. You can sometimes turn it around. Of course, these junglers are super aggressive as well. The Pantheon, I love the Grand Skyfall. And Assault and Battery, I'm loving these.
It's going to be a really volatile game, apart from the top lane, of course, which is just going to be the classic slugfest of Shyvana versus Mundo. But you get Jono and Jakey in there, and it's going to be an exciting combination here in the top lane. And Shyvana and Vi is just such a prevalent combo. And in those team fights as well, I mean, this is going to be so massive. SYF just have so much go-go buttons on their team in order to get stuff started. It's going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean... The top lane is a little bit different this time because obviously Pantheon is one of those junglers that they can actually do an early dive in the top lane, and we'll see if he goes all in, if he kind of sails past the island and decides to join them on the island, or if he just sails past some waves and says goodbye. But I mean, there are a couple options here as well. Pantheon loves to start at his red buff if he's on the blue team. That'll put him at the top lane by level 3. What are we expecting Jono to do in response?
Well, I think that he's probably going to try and mirror, but I think Jono's going to focus a little bit more on farming this game, not necessarily be as early focused as Jakey would be, because the hard CC only comes in with that Assault and Battery, only has that knock up from the Vault Breaker in order to get a bit of CC into those lanes early on. So I think Jono's going to mostly focus on farming to level 6, getting there as soon as possible, possibly stopping past a lane for a counter gank potentially, but he needs to have eyes on Jakey. So look at SYF to try and put down as many wards as they can and get their eyes on Pantheon early on, because his early ganks are very, very powerful. So we'll see whether they can, I guess, ward against that earlier on.
Fair enough. And I mean, that kind of makes sense because Jono's, at least his jungle playstyle, has always been a very responsive one. He doesn't like to be the guy making the first move. He likes to back up his laners when they get ganked. And, we've seen him on champs like Lee Sin, who are the aggressive junglers, but it's definitely to a lesser extent compared to something like this Vi, where he does like to be on the defense, going for those counter ganks. So, Jono's going to be feeling pretty comfortable in this situation, in this jungle, I have to say.
Yeah, and a reactive mode is definitely, it's a good time to be on Vi, because people like Pantheon like to turret dive, like to utilize that Aegis passive in order to block that turret shot so that he can dive under there. Assault and Battery comes out when you're under a tower, you're going to die, even if you can block the first tower hit. And so having that playstyle is definitely going to work to his advantage, carrying this Vi. So it's going to be very interesting. I really like the Syndra pickup as well. We haven't really spoken about this mid lane, but Syndra versus Lulu, that's going to be super fun to watch. But we are finally onto the Rift.
And here we go. It's going to be interesting for sure seeing Pempty on his Syndra. I mean, it gets banned out against him so much that when it gets picked, it's a real treat. It's like when you see a Kassadin make it through for a big mid lane player such as Swiffer from Immunity, just as an example there. So
yeah, it's like seeing double lift on Vayne. That's
it's like seeing the red moon or whatever it is. Blue moon, there you go. Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Fantastic.
Anyway, SYF going to be grouping up here. No defense from them, and this is something that SYF are kind of known for now. They like to at least try and get something out of the enemy team in this early game.
Yeah, so stay grouped up and try and make something happen if they can. They're staying very deep. It's like they're defending off a potential invade from the other team.
Well, we'll see what happens here. And this is kind of the drawback of following that Oceanic defensive meta for the early game. I mean, Optic Snipers, they're a readable team in this sense because they're just going to be sitting there, and SYF know that they're not going to invade. So what's the point of defending when you know the enemy team isn't going to be on the offense, I guess, is what SYF? SYF.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the classic sort of defensive posture here by Optic Snipers. They're just going to not really do anything earlier on, and I like SYF sitting there thinking that this might be a possibility, because if someone was to do a try and do a deep ward, then they would pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to happen this time. And you take a gamble with these early game decisions, and now the trinkets are up and they're able to know what's going on.
Yeah, just pop one down. Make sure no one comes for the blue steel here. And pretty uneventful level 1 there, and so SYF don't really achieve much with that group. Had a bit of a team meeting. Start that blue buff.
Yeah, but they're still going to make it to lane at the same time. It's not going to be too much of an issue. They're just not going to have quite as many wards down really early on in this game, which is something that we were mentioning before. It'd be really good to be able to see Jakey around this map potentially.
Oh, I like this catch though.
Area.
Thresh and Ness waiting for this. Not going to find anything though.
They don't offer it. They see the fact that Turkey does have that stun available, and Descent's missing.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate on that one. But yeah, this is what we're going to see here. Turkey's started with that Incinerate, built up the stun. It's just going to be camping in these bushes to keep the pressure onto Optic Snipers.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to look to see Soldier actually trying to shove this lane out early, trying to get that pressure on ASAP. And Coolmog and Josk are just going to be bashing each other forever in this top lane.
Absolutely. And I guess something we kind of missed was Ice Cold Killer getting the Thresh. That's actually one of his most played champions there and one of his biggest comfort picks. We've seen him on a couple of different teams actually over the past few months, but Ice Cold Killer definitely feeling at home with Optic Snipers.
Yeah, Ness and Ice Cold Killer actually landed the Death Sentence and got a lot of damage down onto Ant Soldier there. So definitely wants to be avoiding those, and we saw just how much damage potential there is in that bottom lane for these guys.
And another hook going to land there onto Turkey. Piercing Light does a bit of damage. Turkey's fairly tanky there, and Ice Cold Killer going to eat a tower shot. That really turns the tides of that trade. Yeah,
he took a lot of damage there. Got very, very aggressive, but he does have to be like that, so it can't necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, Ant Soldier was down very, very low, had to pop his health button. Ness does actually still have his available on 14 CS to that 9, so already putting the pressure down early.
Absolutely. So Island in the top lane, Coolmog is going to be battling out there against Joska. No real point of even paying attention to that top lane anymore, just killing minions. True. But 4Geek and Pempty, this is going to be interesting. You've got a super aggressive mid laner taking on a very utility-focused mid laner.
Yeah, in Lulu, and we've been seeing a lot of Lulu, and she does build flat AP, so it's not necessarily like she's all built for the utility. She just happens to have a lot of it because all of her abilities have multiple uses, often doing damage when you use it against an enemy, but also giving a lot of utility to your own teammates if you use it on them too. So really, really versatile champion. But that Glitter Lance and the help picks do so much damage in only those 2 spells. And with the Lich Bane as well, you've got that auto attack to add that extra burst, and it's just a lot to deal with coming out of that Lulu in the middle lane. But we'll see what Pempty can do on his world-famous Syndra.
Well, we'll see. You can see Jakey, he's been sitting around this middle lane a lot. He's kind of, it feels like he wants to gank this, but he just never commits. He walks up and says, oh, no, I'll go back. You know, just that nervous attitude he's really approaching this mid lane with.
Yeah, he's sort of a bit of caution there. Doesn't really want to run into a Jono as well as a Syndra there. Pempty and Jono will be a notorious combo there in the middle lane. And once that Assault and Battery comes through with that Unleashed Power is going to be a monstrous thing to deal with in that middle lane. And it's going to be very difficult, even with the Wild Growth coming out from 4Geek, to deal with that.
Well, Jake is going to go base here as well. Cool Mog just farming it up. And Ice Cold Killer and X just pushing out this bottom lane, keeping the aggression. We've seen this out of most Threshes as well, you know. Why is Optic Sniper's bot lane really wanting to push this bottom lane?
Well, they just want to hold on to their advantage. Oh, the Death Sentence coming through here.
This could be a good fight, though. Jono's coming around from the side. Ness is out of range. Oh, the Lantern has been wasted. Ness forced to flash as well. Jono going to turn his focus here onto Ice Cold Killer. This could be the first blood, but Ice Cold still fairly healthy. Forced to flash, and he will get away.
That's both flashes down here, though, on the side of Optic Snipers. That Ardent Blaze coming through, looking for Jono, but not quite finding him. And really, really nice. Putting the pressure back into the favor of SYF in this bottom lane, and they were really, really struggling there. So really, really nice work. Both of the flashes are available now for SYF, so they're going to have a lot more potential, especially if Vi does come back down into that bottom lane.
So, again, just farming minions in that top lane. Nice stun onto Ice Cold Killer. Boomerang comes out. This could be the first blood. Here comes Jakey, though. Flashes straight in there for the stun. Ice Cold gets taken out. First blood goes to Ant Soldier. He's running the other way, and he gets taken out as well. Sacrificial lamb for Turkey, and the Turkey gets away.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade there, but an extra assist coming out onto the kill onto Ant Soldier as well, and Ness is going to be here to push out this lane. 41 CS to now 27 on the dead Ant Soldier now, so almost, I'd say, going in favor of Optic Snipers in that bottom lane trade, even though they didn't manage to pick up that first blood. So really nice work there to manage to get Jakey in there for the gank, or for the counter gank, I guess.
Yeah, look at the CS difference for Ness now. 43 to 27, that's big.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Siva's not going to have too much trouble catching up. I mean, she can definitely clear a wave incredibly quickly throughout this mid lane. So as long as you can maneuver around the map and get those free creeps that are waiting in the lanes, I mean, it's not very hard to catch up, but so far it's not looking that great for Ant Soldier in this bottom lane.
So we'll have to see. Pempty in this middle lane, though, having a quiet lane. That's usually what he likes. Going with that Chalice into the Athenes, get a bit of cooldown reduction so we can spam out those skills into the later game.
Yeah, and that's just the El Clasico mid lane pickup by Lulus and Syndras alike. Also, Gragas also picking up those items as well. Just
Pretty
generally,
much everyone.
Yeah, it's just going to be the option. Anyone using mana is going to be picking up that Chalice. It really does help, especially against another Magic user, because it offers that Magic resistance as well, giving you a little bit of some defensive statistics in that middle lane. Definitely very good, but very even in this middle lane as well. It's just a bit of a farm fest.
Absolutely. So both junglers grabbing their blue as well. Dragon could be a point of contest now as well. You can see wards from both teams being put down.
Yeah, I think we're looking to see the junglers really making some moves down to this bottom lane, because you do have that option for, if you try and pick up an uncontested kill in that bottom lane, you can then transition very easily over to that dragon. So it's a really, really nice decision.
4Geek, Pempty, just going at it here. Even CS. See a bit of poke being done to and fro, but Pempty got his blue buff there. Actually, it was Jono that traded it to him. Jono didn't pick up for himself, but Jakey, Pantheon, took the blue for himself.
Yeah, Jono actually here in the mid lane, though.
Forky gets knocked up. Oh, the stun comes through from Pempty as well. Look at that, Unleash the Power comes through, and Jakey arrives late. The Grand Skyfall did a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Jakey needs to run away. Yeah,
it was a max damage man drop there from Pantheon. Definitely not something you really want to trifle with, but nonetheless, 4Geek just did not last long enough, and it was a really, really nice combination. As I was talking about before, I mean, Pempty and Jono, an amazing combination for locking someone down and doing heaps and heaps of damage. That was through a wild growth, and that was just melting 4Geek like butter.
Absolutely. So Jakey going to grab his red buff as well. He's been trying to gank this mid lane a lot. It just hasn't worked out. What's going wrong for him in this jungle?
Well, he just hasn't really got there at the right times. I mean, Jono, as you were saying, is a bit of a reactive jungler, but this game he's really been making decisions for his team and really getting there. Pempty now wandering around here looking to make some plays here, and we've got everyone moving up here on the side of Optic Snipers. They definitely don't want to give away a dragon, and they're going to take away their golems in the bottom lane.
We call that the Winston walk around the block.
Excellent, good. I didn't actually know about that, so thank you very much, Blaze. You've learned me good, friend.
Well, he's not really walking. I mean, Syndra hovers. This is a bit of a cheat.
That's true, but it is damn cool.
Yeah. Anyway, Turkey and Soldier going to be pushing this bottom lane now, shifting the aggression around, but still, big CS difference there. Ness has been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, 21 CS still in the lead here for Ness, so really, really nice work. Siva only on 53 there. They do have the same items, so theoretically the same kill potential on each other, the same level as well. So they are sort of even at their current position in that lane, but it's who's going to get that BF sword first, and I think that Ness is definitely going to get up there.
Ooh, this is interesting. Jono
Standing
is
on a
waiting
ward.
to gank this one. You can see as a result, Jakey is coming up as well, but no gank there.
Yeah, he's just going to get out. I think he discovered that Coolmog did know that he was there, so doesn't have his sweeping lens just yet, unable to clear that one out. And we've got Jakey on an interesting build here. He wants as many swords as possible. Picked up 3 of those long swords and also that Doran's blade as well. So probably going to go for that Lizard Elder and probably try and get that Brutalizer as well, which we've been seeing so many of our Pantheons get just recently.
Absolutely. So Ness, ice cold, still burning down this tower. Done about a third of its health. Not too bad. The Dragon's been up, and I honestly can't believe we haven't seen any contest over it, considering the action that has come from this bottom lane.
Yeah, everyone a little bit reluctant just to take that risk and just wanting to stay in this this laning phase. But the gold is absolutely even at this point. SYF do have that extra kill, but a little bit of extra farm in the lanes here, mostly as a result of Ness out farming and Soldier by so much, has really kept them into this game gold-wise, and it's just so incredibly even.
Oh, and look at that trade. Thrill of the Hunt being used. Thrill of the Tibbers comes through, and Ness jumps straight away. Wow, look at the response time from Jono. Gets him with the Assault and Battery. That was huge. Ice Cold's going to get away, but SYF, they're happy with that.
That Assault and Battery went for so far, and this is exactly what we were talking about. Take a kill in the bot lane and then transition over to Dragon as soon as you have the AD carry out of there. So really, really nice play here. Turkey now with that Tibbers available, but they're not actually going to go over there. I thought that that was exactly what Jono was going to do, but it looks like he hasn't decided to.
Jono finds 4Geek, but you're right, I thought they were going to go for the Dragon as well, or at least push that bottom lane, but SYF kind of just picking up the kill and moving off, and that's a mistake, I feel. That's what we saw Scissor uses Earthquake do in our first best of 3 of the day, and definitely didn't help him out.
Yeah, well, exactly, and I really think that they had the man advantage and they should have made the decision to go for it. I mean, I think maybe it's because there's a little bit of nerves going on. I mean, this is a pretty high contention game, and there's a lot going through these guys' minds, and they don't necessarily want to make decisions that are too risky, but sometimes you've really got to make these risky decisions in order to get ahead. Like, it's risk-reward type situation. You get rewarded for more the more risk you take, so it's interesting to see them play so passively, and we'll see whether they pay for it in the later sides of this game.
We'll see indeed. 3-1 here in the favor of SYF Gaming. And Joska doing a fantastic job in this top lane. Even on CS with the Mundo, but he's kept Mundo pressured into the tower, and so you can see almost half of that tower being killed already.
Yeah, really, really nice play. Just Joska being a beast on that Shyvana, and we can talk about this Mundo-Shyvana matchup all day, every day, but it's sort of just happens the same no matter which game we're watching.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's the just the nature of that island.
Yeah, and Soldier throwing out the spell shield, almost getting hit by that death sentence, and Jakey just waiting in the wings here. Possible Grand Skyfall could be coming through, or they might be wanting to pressure onto this Dragon.
We'll see. Got a Dragon. Probably go for the Dragon. I'd expect that. Ice Cold going to put a ward down.
They're going for the Dragon Ward. I mean, that's a good start.
Dragon Ward. I mean, you start with the Dragon Ward, then you go to the Dragon Peak, and then eventually you get to the Dragon Kill, but it's going to take a while. Yeah,
they're not quite there yet. A little bit frightened. Jono now does have his Assault and Battery back up, so able to make some plays around the map, definitely. The Spirit of the Lizard Elder being finished up here by Jakey, and the Ancient Golem also picked up on the side of Jono. Jono going for that more tanky build on the Vi, which we've been seeing today especially out of these guys. I would like to see Jono build a little bit of more damage on his Vi, because we've been seeing her internationally doing a lot of amazing things, but that may not be what happens this time.
Hook just missing, and there's Thrill of the Tibbers again into this bottom lane. Ice Cold Killer takes a chunk of damage there from Ant Soldier. Assault and Battery, Deja Vu from the last gank, and it's Ice Cold Killer that'll go down. Ant Soldier just surviving. A brilliant barrier will keep him alive. Grand Skyfall coming through as well. Ness has the backup he needs right onto Turkey, and that's going to squish the Turkey into the ground. Turkey still surviving. Spear, nicely done from Jakey. Flashes forward as well.
Yeah, really, really nice Grand Skyfall, managing to make it a 1-for-1. Both of the supports going down, but it only evens out the trade. Not necessarily going to be able to get anything. Pempty does find 4Geek in that jungle, but they wouldn't make anything of it, and looks like they might go for this one as well. No teleport actually on Mundo, which is something to note. Mundo's often going for that one, so this is going to be a 4v4 engage here on Dragon. Nice stun.
Is Pempty going to follow it, though? He has the Unleash the Power. Dragon Taker half health. You can see that Optic Snipers know that this is a bad idea. They're going to back out.
Yeah, and have they wasted a little bit too much time, and have they given away that dragon? Because, no, it's not going to happen. SYF just not a fan of taking that objective. Happy to stop Optic Snipers from taking it, but never want to take it themselves, it appears. And they're just going to transfer around to this mid lane and try and get a bit of pressure onto that turret.
Absolutely. You can see as well, you know, Pempty hasn't gone base in a while. He's sitting on 1,000 gold right here, and he's quite a bit richer than his mid lane opponent there. So Pempty got to be happy with how this early game went for him. What are we expecting from him?
From Pempty in the mid lane, he's going to be trying to get as much burst potential as possible. He'll probably go for a Deathfire Grasp as soon as possible. Maybe straight after this, he might go for the Rabadons first instead. We'll have to see what he decides to go for. But if he does get that Deathfire Grasp, it's going to be because he wants to obliterate someone from these fights. And it could either be, like, ideally 4Geek or Ness, but he'll probably just take whoever he can. I mean, even if he takes Coolmog out of this fight instantly, which would be very difficult, of course, it would definitely be a good thing for his team. So he just wants to delete someone.
Well, we'll see if that's the case. Ice Cold Killer sitting with those hooks. Hasn't really had an easy laning phase, actually, for Optic Snipers. I feel Jono has done a fantastic job of keeping them at bay, but look at that. Only a 200 gold difference between these two teams.
Yeah, very, very nice. Pempty putting down a lot of harass here with that the QE W
nice
combo.
stun. And Ice Cold Killer's in trouble. Vault Breaker lands as well. Jono doing a good job of finding another kill, and Turkey picks it up. Turkey's now 2-1-2.
Yeah, SYF doing a really, really good job. They're actually going to start off the dragon this time, possibly pick up the first dragon of the game and solidify a potential lead here. Jakey and Ness are here around the side.
Can he steal it? There is the culling coming through. Jakey gets melted. Meanwhile, Tibbers tanks up the Baron for him. Good little micro there from Turkey. SYF get a kill. They get the dragon as well. Very,
very nice play. And that Boomerang Blade did so much damage to Jakey. Jakey, of course, not exactly having any tanky stats really built up yet. Going for the Hex Drinker by the looks of things as his next item. Not wanting to get burst down by Pempty, but doesn't stop him getting bursted down by Antkiller on that Sivir, who's doing a lot of damage at the moment.
Absolutely. Look at Coolmog as well. Just chilling there, tanking damage.
Yeah.
Pops the ultimate. Maximum disrespect.
Yeah, just throws out a random cleaver and pops the ultimate like a bit of a silly person. No problem.
Coolmog, funny guy, but you know he's feeling fairly strong here as well. He's gone for the Sunfire Cape, so very tanky Mundo as always.
Yeah, the Bilgewater Cutlass and the Giant's Belt in response here by Joska. Probably wanting to finish up that Blade of the Ruined King ASAP, as we've spoken about before. There it is. It's actually finished up right now. Speak of the devil. So he's going to be able to do a fair bit more damage against this Coolmog Mundo, just because he has a lot more potential percentage health damage at his disposal. And as we can see, Coolmog very much enjoys building up that health pool, just because he uses it as a resource on that Mundo.
So, bot town, we're going to go down here. 2-6 in the favor of SYF Gaming at the 17-minute mark. Gold lead slowly getting bigger here, so perhaps that's the first snowball of what might be an avalanche. We'll have to wait and see. Ice Cold Killer finds out another ward. He's found a couple now, I have to say. He's found 3, which is pretty good.
Not bad at all. And 1.5k gold is the lead here for SYF. They have actually lost a tower, though, so tower in advantage now for Optic Snipers, and we'll have to look to see whether SYF can actually pull back in the objective race. I mean, 1 dragon to 1 tower does go in favor of the tower just because of the extra map presence that you do get and the vulnerability that you force the bottom lane, the enemy bottom lane into by getting rid of that safety tower.
So I've kind of been looking at Pempty here, and it's kind of like this god in the middle lane that gets talked up a lot for his Syndra, but so far he hasn't really done much. He's 1-0-1, and I feel like he's just farming and feeling content with that.
I think it's because Jono's been focusing on getting kills in this bottom lane in order to transition to this dragon. I mean, they've done it twice now. As soon as the Assault and Battery comes into the mid lane, I think Pempty understands that it's going to be pretty much a free kill, so he doesn't necessarily want to risk too much when he has guaranteed kills in that bottom lane, in that mid lane.
And of course, Pempty, you know, he's almost at that 10 per minute mark when it comes to CS, and that's simply fantastic. It's the goal of all of these mid laners, so he's sitting there farming, but he's doing a damn good job of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Picked up that needlessly large rod as well on top of his Athene's Unholy Grail, so he's starting to really build up that AP. So doing really, really well, and 4Geek not going to be able to contend with this for much longer. And we got a 3-man push down here in the bottom lane, so possibly going to be taking down this turret and solidifying a little bit more of a lead.
Turkey, Jono, and Soldier going to be starting this 3-man push-up, like you said. And that's an easy tower right there. Good rotation. And Optic Sniper's really falling behind the mark on that one.
Yeah, definitely. And Jakey just nowhere to be seen, taking his race to this point, not able to pressure anywhere else on the map, taking advantage of the fact that Jono was spotted there bottom lane with the bottom lane of SYF. So very, very nice rotation work. And Pempty and Joska still able to defend the other turrets on the map, and no dragon to be taken at this point. So really, really intelligent play.
Absolutely. We could see a bit of a tussle here, actually. Fighting over wards in this red buff. Or behind this red buff. They're going to clear it out. Ice Cold Killer finding probably his 4th ward of the game now.
Yeah, and Ice Cold Killer just missing that death sentence as well, and Soldier, sorry, managing to wander out of the range of that one. So nice attempt there by Ice Cold Killer, and oh, there it is. There's the actual hook.
Right onto Turkey. They're not going to follow it up.
Oh, I thought he was going to go in there. I got very, very excited. Boomerang Blade coming through, doing so
much
damage.
Ness has a bit less health now.
Oh, I see what you did there. Fantastic work.
Anyway, I'm really respecting these sweepers, though. I mean, we've seen them out of Ice Cold Killer and Turkey, and they're getting a lot of wards right here. Joska is going to engage here onto Coolmog. Coolmog doesn't have the ultimate. He does have Ignite if he wants to turn it around, and Joska still had Flash and Ignite there, but he chose not to fight it. Yeah,
Coolmog was just going to kite him out with those cleavers, though, and he just knew, Joska, that it just wasn't worth it to throw down that the Ignite and the Flash and waste everything in order to catch up to this one.
Oh, Pempty, nice double stun there. Boomerang just missing.
Yeah, and Ansoldier using a nice spell shield there in order to block that Glitter Lance damage, which is going to be doing a fair bit at this point with those Sork Boots and the Athenes on Holy Grail, so definitely worth shielding.
And a 3-man push now for Optic Snipers. They're looking strong to take out this tower. Will they be able to get it? Hooks keep coming out of Ice Cold Killer. They're falling short, though, and he needs to be hitting those skill shots.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 people in the mid lane now, and no teleport on this Mundo. Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds, so that might be the next position that we're going to be moving around for. It seems like Optic Snipers are moving over there a little bit prematurely, but they're just going to be putting up their wards and setting up for this potential Dragon eventually. But they're going to go back to base now, and that means that they're going to be back in time for the Dragon. They're also going to have spent as much money as they possibly can to put them in the best position for this next Dragon fight that they are obviously preparing for.
Absolutely, and something we kind of spoke about in the Champions League was how Ant Soldier and Turkey aren't usually AD carry and support together, and so how have we seen the synergy unfold? Because Civ is looking pretty strong right now.
I've actually been really impressed with how they've gone together. As we said before, it's fairly easy to follow up from a Tibbers or On the Hunt, but they've been extra specially good at really knowing when they're going to be doing stuff. And of course, they're probably on some voice communication device at this point, so they're going to be able to yell at each other and tell them when to go in.
Yeah, an aggressive support that yells at their AD carry when they mess up. But Dragon number 2 of the game going to be started up here by Optic Snipers, and look at that, SYF not even trying to contest them on that one. The Mundo was down there and didn't want to fight at 4v5.
Yeah, absolutely. They basically said, well, we got the top turret, we're happy with that. Tells him
whoa, big engage right there. Turkey goes in. Wow, where did Jakey go in all of that? Gets taken out as well from Syndra damage. It's actually Jono that picks up that kill. Ice Cold Killer hooks into Jono, and Coolmog gets taken out. Joska grabs in, and Pempty doing so much damage in this fight. And Soldier as well, just melting them down. Oh, the stuns from Pempty setting that one up. Wow. And a double kill from the Boomerang. And Soldier, what a hero.
Yeah, that was incredible. Pempty landing first, the scat of the week on 3 people with that ball for the stun, and then the most amazing Boomerang coming through and picking up that double kill instantly. They had so much health, that Boomerang Blade doing so much damage, and this is what we like to call the Legolas build coming out, almost completed here by Ant Soldier. Almost has that last Whisper done, and that means his spells are doing so much damage. They're going to be able to take down this turret.
Absolutely. Ice Cold Killer not going to be enough to defend that one out. 3-10 in the favor of SYF. SYF looking so strong in this best of 3.
Yeah, they're really pulling out ahead now. They've got about a 5,000 gold lead, and it's 4 turrets to 1 here, favoring SYF. So really, really nice play. And that last fight was just all about Pempty and Soldier doing so much work. Turkey also getting some amazing stuns, and Jono, his Assault and Battery launched him 400 miles into the air, which is kind of hilarious to watch.
Had no idea where he went. Lost him off the face of the earth right there. I think it looked like Jakey was about to jump up with the Grand Skyfall and Jono tried to chase him, but that would be pretty interesting. See where Jono comes down to land, just goes on a ride he wasn't expecting, but nevertheless, the mid tower gets taken out right there.
I think of it as the last scene in Space Jam, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bit similar to that.
Well, they are both the Dunk Masters, so it makes sense. Blue buff, who's going to get it? Goes to Jakey. He's going to be in a bit of trouble there. Wild Growth going to be used. Jump straight onto Turkey. They want to turn this one around. They hook Turkey in, and Tibbers is doing work. Ness and 4Geek get absolutely wrecked. Pempty doing work onto that one. Meanwhile, Ice Cold Killer gets chased down, and SYF just cleaning up this fight. 3 kills.
Really amazing turnaround. On the Hunt got popped, and instantly everyone knew what to do. It's the power of the Donkey Whistle place. I know that this is a team that's been together for a long time, so they know exactly what they're doing anyway, but that On the Hunt just gives them so much movement speed, and they caught up and just obliterated everyone one after the other. And what it looked like was that Turkey was trapped, and then he brought down the most amazing stun onto 2 people, and Ness immediately was removed. Just really, really good play.
Turkey, he wasn't caught there. He was just playing chicken with them, and this is going to be the Baron now.
Yeah, SYF just snowballing this game so incredibly quickly, knowing exactly what they can achieve from what they get out of these fights, and it's just really, really good to see. Jono, I'm smiting that one away, and it's got 209 Vi here as well, so that's a monstrous Vi.
And you know, if you're a fan of SYF here, you have to be proud of how they've developed as a team over the past month. I mean, their first qualifier event was Go For All 34, which was where Frenetic Array managed to qualify, and they were looking a bit shaky there, okay? They weren't really in a position to take that one out, I would have said, but here we are in the Challenger qualifier at the end of the month, and they are looking like one of the top spots to take it out.
Absolutely. They're looking really, really strong right now. I mean, on the side of Optic Snipers, what they want to be doing is trying to turtle this one out, see whether they can win, but trying not to let this level of snowball get under their skin. As we were talking about in the first game of the ACL series that we were casting this morning, I mean, YSSC just needed to not let that first game get under their skin, and they managed to get back in the last 2 games. So maybe this is something that Optic Snipers can opt for, but right now it's just not looking very, very good for them.
Yeah, we'll see. Optic Snipers can opt for anything at this stage, really.
Oh, very good.
3-2-13 at the 26-minute mark, but pretty big goal deficit as well. But, of course, they have managed to pick up 2 towers, so they do have little angles into this match that they can leverage. They just got to win a fight to do it. Yeah,
it's just looking very, very dangerous. When you've got a Pempty on 3-0 and 4 on that Syndra, which is just a monstrous thing to deal with. Almost has that Zony's Hourglass built up as well. A little bit of a client bug issue happening right now.
This is either a client issue or we've had an instant bit of truce. These guys are just like, yeah. So that's not good news.
Spectator data unavailable is never what you necessarily want. But we will see what has actually happened in this matchup. Very interesting.
I'll press the big OK button. We'll see what happens.
I think the big OK button would be okay for you to press there, Place. Very good idea.
It's the only button I can press. We'll take a look. We'll reconnect to the game and see if that's just an us issue or if it's a bigger issue.
Yeah, and it might have been just an agreed-upon surrender as well here coming out.
Actually, that's something we did see in Cyber Gamer. Of course, one of the games ended at 15 minutes because one of the teams decided to forfeit.
Yeah, I think it was actually after 20 minutes, though, into that game, so not entirely
17. Sure. Oh, this game?
This game here.
Yeah, we were definitely past that.
Yeah. So, not likely. They probably would have just surrendered normally instead of breaking our client, but
there we are.
We are back into this game. No worries at all.
Very,
very nice.
We fixed it.
Yeah,
we fixed it, Atlas.
Yeah, controlled it.
You pulled the solution out of your Atlas.
I did.
Do you find solutions in Atlas? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. You find where places are, maybe?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you found me.
Yeah, thanks, Place.
Where places
You're
are.
in my Atlas. I don't know what that means, and it sounds really, really
I don't
bad.
know how we got there, but
yeah,
whatever.
Let's get back into this game.
And
pushing in onto the
Pempty.
inhibitor turret. I mean, into the inner turret. You've got me all flustered.
Anyway, nice little spell shot there from Ant Soldier. Going to block up a little bit of damage from that Ardent Blade. Kulmog pushing, or defending rather, this mid lane. It's Josker who's pushing it. And again, they're moving their island down to the middle lane here, Josker and Kulmog. They just want these creeps.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter where that Mundo goes, Josker will be watching him.
Absolutely. Look at this. There we go.
Oh, there's
Turkey
the
goes in.
Timbers.
And, oh, Ness gets absolutely obliterated. The damage from SYF is filthy. Cold Killer goes down as well. Jakey goes down. Turkey survived that engage as well. So did Timbers. That's the real victory. Coolmog, the last survivor here for Optic Snipers. He doesn't get taken out, but SYF are going to clean up the base.
That was a kill switch engaged right there, and Turkey is a beast making these plays on Annie. Stuns up both of the carries from Optic Snipers, and from there they had no damage. Jakey went down immediately, and that was just magical work. Turkey just knows exactly when to turn on the pain here on this Annie, and
This is
that's
going
going to have to get a ban, I think, in the next game.
Absolutely. First Nexus turret's down, the second will follow. Coolmog going to take a bunch of damage here, and SYF have got to be happy because game one is looking like it's going to be theirs. There'll have to be a couple more kills for it. Pempty looking for the runaround, gets taken out, and it's not going to be over just yet. Optic Snipers have managed to save it, at least for a little bit of time. Ant Soldier just piecing out, flashing out of the base.
Yeah, death time is not quite long enough here at 30 minutes into this game, and unfortunately overstaying their welcome just a little bit with SYF. They were very, very close to finishing off that Nexus turret, and they probably should have just focused on it instead of... sorry, not Nexus turret, Nexus itself. They probably should have focused it down instead of trying to go for kills, but unfortunately Pempty just got annihilated, and Jono and Turkey to follow, but... Not too bad. They're just going to regroup and possibly push down another lane. But having that bottom inhibitor down with Baron coming up within the next few minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes now on that Baron timer as it does pop up. Very, very nice work. But Optic Snipers managing to pick up a Consolation Dragon. Not bad at all.
I'd like to see SYF try and go for a sick XPK move right now. I mean, they've pretty much got this game in the bag for game number one. At this stage, Optic Snipers are pretty much just looking at this match as... you know, what can we improve for the next game? And so SYF, let's see if they can pull something special off here.
Yeah, Dragon's Descent over the wall or something onto the Nexus somehow.
Pempty just snipes it from out of the base, just with the balls.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Can you do that? Can you throw them
Probably
onto the
not.
Nexus? Does that do damage? I don't think it does. No. Damn.
Anyway, Turkey going to find another ward right here in the red buff. Going to be taken out by Ant Soldier, so SYF, I like this. At least they're grouping up. They're going to make short work of this one. They're keen for game number 2, and they're keen for the grand finals, of course, if they can win it this best of 3 out. Of course, Optic Snipers probably keen for game number 2 here, because I'm sure that they have a lot more up their sleeves in this series.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot to prove coming in here, and they want to make sure that we understand that they're definitely deserved of this. The Skyfall coming in, though.
Grand Skyfall. It's not going to be a grand team fight, though. Nice on his Hourglass from Pempty. Survives all of that damage on the run now. Going to get obliterated, but not after he gets his ultimate off onto 4Gig right there. Nice hook from Cold Killer back in, but SYF are cleaning up this fight. There's way too much damage. A double kill for Pantheon. Jakey goes down, though, and Coolmog in the back line. Not going to find Turkey just yet. Manages to take him out, and SYF have 2 members alive, and that's going to be all they need to take out this Nexus and take out game 1 in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, Forky going to do the best he can, but they are going to take down this Nexus. Optic Sniper's actually doing a fairly decent job to try and come back in that last team fight, but there goes the Nexus. Really, really well played there by SYF.
Absolutely, and so for the Challenger qualifiers, SYF are looking hot in this one. Taking out game number 1. Game number 2, what are we expecting, though, to be switched up by Optic Snipers?
Well, I think I'm looking for them to probably ban out perhaps that Annie from Turkey, because Turkey was making so many plays on that Annie, and it just... Ice Cold Killer wasn't necessarily getting the death sentence that they needed in that bottom lane, but they're on the hunt as well, so Siva being a really, really high priority champion in their game. So really, really nice play by SYF, and I just think that they had a way of winning that they knew about in their heads, and they just played it out to perfection. Really, really nice work.
And, you know, it's hard. We talk about the bans here for Optic Snipers. What are they going to choose? And SYF are a really hard team to ban against. It's kind of surprising. Harder than some of the bigger or heavier hitters that we've seen throughout some of the qualifiers. And it's because Pempty in that middle lane demands bans. Something like that Syndra has to be banned out. Something like his Ziggs and Nidalee have to be looked at, as well as his Kassadin. So there's already 4 champions on the table for 1 player.
And also Jono's Vi was incredibly impactful in the last game. So
Joska's Renekton's up there as well. And then Turkey, you know, you've got to ban out his Thresh or pick it away. And suddenly you look at SYF and you've got this amateur team that's looking to be a pro team. And they have so many, such deep champion pools, I guess.
Yeah, well, they definitely need about 7 bans in order to deal with SYF. So Optic Sniper's probably going to be talking to some admins over the course of this game just to see whether they can get a few extra bans under their sleeve. But until then, we will be back with Game 2 very, very shortly, guys. Do not go anywhere.
you for your contribution.
It's like never before.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Remember, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game with the Plantronics rig, headset, and mixer. Life comes to game.
Welcome back, guys, to the Cyber Gamer, or not the side, the Challenger qualifiers. Here is where we're at. I'm just too hyped because game number 2 is coming up for SYF Gaming and Optic Snipers, and it's going to be huge between these guys. They're into Champion Select Atlas. Let's see what these guys decide to ban out.
Yeah, let's see what the change in decisions of these bans are. I mean, the Gragas definitely a contentious pick. That one going to be taken away on the side of SYF, and they didn't have as many bans last game. So now that they've got 3 bans, I wonder whether this game is going to shape up differently based on the fact that there's so many missing.
Absolutely.
So many more, sorry.
Yeah, and Gragas can be banned out there by SYF as well as that Lee Sin. So targeting Jakey, I feel like Jakey was doing a pretty good job last game on the aggressive jungle, considering how much pressure Jono put him under. So banning out that Lee Sin, taking that away from Jakey is smart, and the Gragas ban as well.
Yeah, and it's looked like the whole trifecta of really powerful junglers at the moment has been taken away. Of course, we still do have Olaf left, we've got Pantheon left, and we've got things like Nocturne that we've seen today as well that are left. Fiddlesticks hasn't had a look at recently, but he is still fairly powerful there. Kale being banned away as well, and SYF really targeting some champions that we haven't necessarily we didn't see mentioned last game.
The reason I think they're banning out the Kale is they're going to pick up the Zed.
Ooh,
Kale is
a good
one
point.
of the biggest counters to that Zed, and it's something that Pempty has played a ton of. And it's not what you would expect from Pempty. We see him as that kind of poke, burst, kind
burst
of
caster.
combo champion. You know, the Nidalee, the Ziggs, the Syndra, all of these champions he's played, and then he can swap it out and play a mean Zed as well. So maybe that's what he's doing. We'll wait and see here. First pick for SYF.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to go for. The Ziggs is open. That is one thing that does come to mind. There's also the slew of top lane champions that haven't had a mention here. The Renekton is available. Mundo, Shyvana as well. So they ban away the trifecta of junglers. They're going to leave open the... the Kassadin did get through, though.
Oh, wow.
And they just noticed that Joska says Kassadin, and I could assume they're going to lock this one in. So this could be a fatal mistake here, possibly, for Optic Snipers.
And I mean... all of these bans that SYF looked for, if that was setting up for something like a Zed or any champion, Kassadin just beats all of that because Pempty's Kassadin is a comfort pick for him as well, plays it all the time.
Absolutely.
And seeing that get through is a big deal. Then again, I mean, picking Kassadin isn't an instant win.
That's true, and actually we saw recently a Kassadin go down. He basically, it was baited out, and it was a team that was just incredibly fast push, never let Kassadin get to that mid to late game area.
That's true.
Just snowball the game incredibly quickly, but it is so risky to do. Shyvana and Leona now being locked in, with that Thresh now being banned out. Leona is a very good pickup there for the bottom lane, but I wonder what they're going to do to try and combat this this Kassadin pickup, and what SYF is going to do to try and complement that Kassadin. And the Olaf being hovered over here by Jono. Jono has played a lot of Olaf in the past, and Ant Soldier did get his Sivir again as well. So this is looking very good for SYF and a bit dangerous here. Yeah, for Optic Snipers. I'm very, very scared.
Yeah, and the thing is, Optic Snipers are against a high mobility team here, so they're going to need a lot of CC. But they're going to need CC on a quick refresh. There's no point having a huge wombo combo, say, I don't know, Malphite with the Unstoppable Force and an Ori ultimate, you know, because that's not long enough. You've got to have stuff that's going to be on a quick rotation so you can keep these guys locked down. And
that Fiddlesticks that I was mentioning. I mean, that's an option. That fear does last for a long time, even though it was nerfed.
We'll have to see. I mean, they've got that Leona already, so that's a fairly good chance for that. 3 different CCs to keep people locked down, and 2 of them are AoE as well. We'll have to wait and see what 4Geek and Ness pick up their teams. Riven.
Oh, I like this. If this is a Riven picked up by 4Geek for that middle lane, and Ness also picking up that Ezreal as well to try and get away from that Kassadin Riftwalk coming into your face. You definitely don't want to pick something like a Jinx or something that, or a Cogmore, God forbid, because that is just food for a Kassadin. Kassadin is just going to jump on top of them and take them out. So Ness trying to give himself the most chance of getting out of there. Could have gone for that Lucian as well. Is an option. Turkey now hovering over some interesting pickups here. He does have on the chance to go on his Annie, but Alistair being hovered
love
over.
this team
Don't
comp out
play
of
with
SYF.
our hearts. Don't play with them. Lock in that Alistair, or just don't hover over it.
I think they'll lock this one in. It works with Pempty. It's going to work against Leona as well because, you know, Leona uses that Zenith Blade, throws it out, and you can pulverize to stop her, but there's a Rumble.
That's a Rumble being hovered over, and this is
That's
not
a
gonna
Renekton.
happen. That's let's just wait until it gets locked in, and then we'll decide on what's going to
These
happen.
guys just toying with our emotions.
They
but
certainly are, but
I would expect the Renekton. I mean, it's Joska's
Absolutely.
favorite pick right there. I mean, whenever that's available to him, he's like, "Yep, give me the Renekton. I'll win the game for you." So we'll see.
And also, they want that Renekton so that they can stop that potential snowball out of control factor, because Renekton not going to be beaten early on in that lane against the Shyvana. It takes about a level 9 point for that to tip over in Shyvana's favor, so Renekton going to be able to stand up to her in lane for the earlier stages, which is definitely something that you want. And the Alistair does get locked in.
Love it.
Xin Zhao being locked in instantly.
Man,
Jakey locking that one in.
trip down memory lane right here, I gotta say.
Whoa. This is an exciting pickup. Coolmog actually going for that Ghost as well in the Shyvana.
Yeah, we've had a treat of League of Legends today, and look at all these interesting picks. Kassadin, Alistar, Riven in the middle lane as well against the Kassadin is going to be
some
crazy
faker plays
to
could be
watch.
coming out. I mean, you remember when those highlight reels came out? And holy crap.
And I mean, Riven was one of those AD mid laners that's picked for something like a Gragas, and it works just as well against the Kassadin in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like Talon haven't been seeing as much play. Talon was picked up as sort of like the anti-Kassadin pick.
Yeah.
Hasn't been seeing it as much. I mean, you would have thought that him and things like, say, Zed would be interchangeable, but not actually this time. And I really do like the Riven pick, just able to really bully early.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that Optic Snipers have kind of seen the aggressive style that SYF showed in the last match, how mobile SYF team is this time, and their response with champions like Ezreal is perfect here, champions like Riven as well, and the Xin Zhao, I don't really see how the Xin Zhao fits in. What's the deal with Xin Zhao?
Well, he's an incredible early game jungler. If Xin Zhao doesn't get ahead in the first 6 levels, he's basically useless, but if he does, he can snowball a game out of control. He can just charge into people and just be an absolute monster. With that Crescent Sweep, he's going to be able to single out one person and just remove them. If he builds any damage at all, he can be a monster. And if he decides to go full tank, he'll never be killable in these early fights. So he's just... that's always how he's been hitting something like that.
Anyway.
The Crescent Sweep is going to be very good for getting people out of Xin Zhao's room, and he's going to be able to single somebody out. If that happens to be Pempty, and he doesn't have access to that Riftwalk, then, I mean, that's going to be a definite boon for the side of Optic Snipers. But Riftwalk's such a low cooldown, only about 7 seconds at level 6.
It kind of makes me wonder, though. The Crescent Sweep from Xin Zhao, obviously his ultimate, it's going to be pushing SYF all around the place in these fights, but SYF's team comp is all about mobility, so I don't really see it doing too much. I mean, Kassadin's going to get pushed out.
That's true.
He was probably going to ulti out anyway. Sivir going to get pushed out. If she doesn't spell shield it, she was probably just going to run out anyway.
And Jono's probably not going to get pushed out because he's got Ragnarok on anyway.
Exactly. He's just going to be running around like a crazy berserker. But we are onto the Rift here for game number 2 of SYF taking on Optic Snipers. SYF up a game here, so if they win this one, they go into the grand finals up against Avant-Garde for their shot to qualify into the Riot Regionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And so far, SYF has made a fantastic showing. I could imagine this grand final is going to be a nail-biter, depending on who's going to be getting in here. If Optic Snipers manage to take back the next 2 games, then, man, it's going to be ridiculous looking at this grand final game. So we will see what happens. And they're onto the Rift, and it looks like the classic defensive posturing coming through here, and definitely the classic items coming out. Just a little bit of a difference in the middle lane with that Doran's Shield and the Flask being the slight change.
So we've seen this 5-man defense so much now, Atlas. Maybe it's about time we start working out how to defeat it. What are these guys looking to do? Like, how do you stop this 5-man defense and actually use it to your advantage?
Well, I mean, you can always group up and know where they're going to be sitting and try and get into position first as a group of 5 and use a death sentence or a hook or something from a blitzcrank in order to fix something up like that and get an easy first kill. But so far, not being utilized as of yet. And the defensive posturing just being something that every team wants to be able to do. They want to be able to get their wards out onto the map and know where everyone is early on.
And every champion just doing the dance of their people right now. So fantastic that we have that display of talent from these players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that Olaf skin as well, that pentakill Olaf. What a beast, being able to whack everyone. Looks like a monster, that guy. Although I do like Brolaf. That's my personal favorite.
Oh, well. Minute 47 in here. Blue buff will be spawning soon for these guys, and it's going to be the usual start here. Blue buff for both of these guys at level 1. Kind of interesting. I would have expected a Xin Zhao to maybe start his red for an early bottom lane gank.
Yeah, Xin Zhao does like to use a bit of mana, though, early on if he wants to clear the jungle as quickly as possible with that with his Q. So he likes to spam that one out, very much like an Olaf who wants to spam that undertow over and over again. As you can see, he's already down fairly low. And Turkey now getting to the face of Ice Cold Killer. Yeah,
taking a bit of damage right there. We'll have to see how good Turkey's reaction times as well. How well or how fast he is when it comes to Ice Cold Killer jumping in with that Zenith play. Will Turkey be able to disrupt that, or will he end up eating the stun like a champ anyway?
Well, it does depend on who gets to the level 2 early. Once that Headbutt Pulverize option does come in, if they hit that first, then Ant Soldier and Turkey are going to have a massive advantage in this mid lane. But as it looks so far, it looks like we're possibly going to get level 2 first over on the side of Ness and Ice Cold Killer. So possibly look to see them utilizing the Shield of Daybreak and the Zenith Blade. Yeah, and Pempty knows that he's probably not going to have too much luck in this lane until level 6. So it doesn't really matter too much that he's behind a little bit in the CS. It's just whether 4Geek and Jakey can manage to snowball off the weakness of Kassadin early on. Because if Kassadin doesn't die, he can just stay in this game and he can find farm somewhere. He can roam around and he can just become that monster that Kassadin's known for.
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see. Ansel just looking particularly
Really nice Boomerang Blade as well to make sure that Ness doesn't want to come back into this lane. But Turkey, what a monster. Making sure that he gets that passive damage, Rampage, onto Ice Cold Killer the entire way, and that undertow as well, doing so much work slowing down, and really, really nice work by Jono to come through there to get the AD carry the first blood. And they're also going to get Ness to lose a lot of this CS in this bottom lane and get a lot of damage on this turret. All around just a fantastic play here for SYF.
And only 4 minutes in, it's a pretty good lead there for the bottom lane of SYF. We'll have to see how it transitions later on. Of course, they've helped out the bottom lane here, but that's not where the struggle is. Pempty's early game is crucial here for SYF. How's it been going so far?
Well, he's definitely down on CS, almost half here to the like of 4Geek, but it's whether 4Geek can really transition his lead in this mid lane to a lead throughout the rest of the game. Because, yeah, he might be winning now, but everyone understands. Oh, wow, actually undertook. Has everything at his disposal, has the Seeker's Arm Guard now built up, probably wanting to try and get some armor against the...
Here comes the kill squad, and Pempty's...
Dragon just spawning, really, really nice timings here. Ice Cold Killer and 4Geek doing... Actually, 4Geek doing a lot of damage here. Ness now here to put his little mark on it as well, and this is really, really going well. The sniper's just really powering through this game.
SYF not going to be able to find anything, though. Looked like they wanted to contest just a little bit late.
Yeah, and Ness now going to go back completely out of mana. Ice Cold Killer going to follow him as well, because as any support does, you want to go with your AD carry wherever you go. 60 CS now on this Kassadin to 98 of Riven. Riven doing really, really well. 3-0, 3-1 and 2 now. Has that Bloodthirster completed. The double longsword here as well. Probably going to be building into that Brutalizer for that one. And man, this is really, really getting scary. Has that Null Magic Mantle for a little bit of magic resist on top of it. And SYF really needs to start getting this game moving into their favor. Otherwise, this might actually get out of hand, because with the 2-0-1 on the Xin Zhao and the 3-1-2 on the Riven, Riven is a massive snowball champion as well. We talk about Kassadin all the time, but Riven can get out of control also. So we'll see what can happen here. I'm thinking that Optic Snipers definitely have a chance.
So Pempty picked up his first kill of the game up there in that previous fight. And it looks like he's building towards a couple of different things here. It looks like he's going for the Seraph's Embrace, but at the same time he's going for that Sonya's Hourglass. How is the game slowly shifting here for Pempty?
Well, Pempty wanted to pick up that arm guard, get that stacking up with the armor and AP. Probably is happy to leave it as that item and wants to build other things on the way. I mean, he hasn't decided to go for that Rod of Ages early on. He's probably going to try
in this match here. Despite being down kills and behind gold by about 1,000 here, they're ahead to 2 towers, and that's a lot of pressure in the back of Optic Sniper's mind, and so that's why they're going to be pushing this mid lane. We'll see if they're successful right here.
Yeah, it's now a 5v5. Pempty is actually coming around. He's hiding in that Wraith camp, wanting to come in with that Rift Walk when he wants to.
I'm not too sure why he's doing this, though. I mean, it's going to keep him safe from a lot of poke, and it's going to keep him safe from being engaged upon. But it means he has to burn an ultimate like that to get even towards the fight before he can even start fighting. So, I mean, it's a little bit interesting from Pempty, and I think that's why he's coming back and just going to sit in the lane.
I think he was just trying to bait out the fight. Maybe Optic Snipers were going to assume he went back, something like that, and then they could start the fight and he could come in and turn it into a 5v5 fight under...
Snipers, and Ness is in trouble. Triple kill there for Siva. Can she get the quadra? She does. It's a... No, actually, it's Pempty that steals away that last kill, but it's an ace for SYF.
SYF, amazing team fight control there, and Turkey just being that frontline bull. That pulverize onto 3 people, as you mentioned, was massive.